All right, we're here. Red Sounds, DJ Aaron's podcast. First episode with my man, world famous beat Junkies, DJ MELO-D. What up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Living legend, man.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's good to be here. How you guys doing?
I know, good, man, good. Really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us.
Yeah, man, happy to do it.
First episode, so we're kind of, it's kind of crazy because we just did a few pilots before we done this.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, man, like you just came into my mind. I was like, man, we should get the MELO-D first, so.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
very honored to have you here.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here.
Even my glasses is fogging a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but so for our viewers, MELO-D, where did you? Are you from Cerritos? Where did you grow up? Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, born and raised in Cerritos. Grew up, went to preschool, elementary school, high school, and then went on to UC Irvine. Attended UC Irvine, and for those 6 years I was in college, I commuted from my mom and dad's house in Cerritos. And when I moved out in 2000 at age 26, 27, I moved into my own house in Cerritos.
Nice,
which
nice.
is where I still live. We were talking off camera, but I'm in the process of moving. Still local, but yeah, I'm a Southern California kid. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yeah, man, process of buying a house is a big thing.
But Cerritos is a very special place. Obviously, I'm attached to it because I grew up there. But I think one of those reasons is that I've seen it grow like over the years. I remember being a kid, maybe 3-4 years old, and there was literally no supermarket in the city. There used to be a drive-through dairy.
Right.
There was a few that are now major streets. Again, I was very small, but I want to say around kind of like the Norwalk Boulevard, 183rd, just kind of west of where the library is now. Like there was dirt roads. Like none of that housing was there. The schools weren't there, but there used to be right there. It is now Norwalk, and it's like a Korean kind of strip mall right there. Mm-hmm. They've got like a Korean market, and there used to be like a 19-minute photo film.
Right.
But that's where the drive-through dairy was. It was called 7D's Milk and Dairy. And that's where you got like your milk, your bread, your cereal.
Damn.
And then they didn't open. Yeah, then they opened a supermarket in probably the late 70s. And that was called Market Basket. And that's kind of where, you guys know where Amori Tacos is at?
Yeah.
Cerritos Lanes. Well, it's now, I think it's Ralph's now. But that was the Market Basket. And then next door now in 2019, it's CVS. But there was also a drugstore called Skaggs.
Oh.
And so I just like stuff like that. And then I remember walking to school. I went to Leal Elementary. And I remember literally walking through a cow pasture, like to get to kindergarten.
Oh, damn.
To get to first grade, and all my friends walking through cow pasture and just everything smelling like cow and horse and manure. And
so it was like that, huh?
Yeah. It was very, it was nowhere near the community it is today. And, in fact, where that, I think it's called the Cerritos Town Center, right? Where the Performing Arts Center is, and there's movie theater and Rubio's and Arte Cafe and all this. Man, that was completely just a vacant dirt lot for years. And my friends and I, we used to take our BMX bikes,
right?
And we would dig ditches and
do
jumps, and there'd be snakes in there. You'd see just lizards and all kind of inner city wildlife. It was kind of cool.
I was there for the grand opening when they had that Cerritos Town Center.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
That was huge, but just developments like that, and then renovating the library, and just all the housing, and just the way the communities come together. I'm a father now, so my children, us being Cerritos residents, they go to schools in the area. It's just a great place to raise a family. I'm proud to claim Cerritos all day.
That's dope. See, I came from my parents moved me and my sister, or actually the whole family, in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
When I was about 8 years old, we went to the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
They wanted to start a business out there. They started a bakery business. And then I think 2-3 years later, I guess it didn't go as planned. Mm-hmm. So they left back here to the States, but they left me, my brother, and my sister.
In the Philippines?
In the Philippines for 4 years.
Wow.
And long story short, that's how I got to learn how to speak Bisaya from Cebu. So I still speak it fluently.
Oh, okay.
Because when they left us or left me, we had no choice.
Right.
They would, our maids and, would talk, their shit.
Yeah.
We're
wow. So you stayed you had a caretaker, obviously, relative or maids or?
Yeah, we had everything.
So they came out here, your folks came out here to start business or
Right.
Okay,
to
and then
get
you've been
back
obviously.
to where
Yeah, so they
were
came
before
back
they
here.
stayed.
Yeah, they came back, and then I was a wild kid over there, man. Wild kid. So I
Your
would.
parents aren't around, like
Yeah, so
really can't expect much else.
7 years old or 8, no, like around 9. I think it was already 9 or 10, one of those age. Went to downtown, roaming around with my caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I tried to cross the street and I didn't see the car coming. And I was holding the hand of, or the caretaker was holding my hand. And he stopped, but I kept on going. I got hit by a truck.
Oh, man.
Got underneath the car. I thought they were going to back up. And then I was going to get run over with the tire. All I remember was some lady going, "Stop, don't roll back, don't back up."
Yeah.
My body was literally right by the tire. If he did, I would have been smashed, done, right?
Whoa.
So at that time, my dad's brother and his family just got approved to move, and they had like another month, and then they're moving here.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "Fuck that, you're going with them.
Yeah.
You're coming back. You're coming back.
back.
You too crazy." So we all came back, but when we came back, just to tie it in, we stayed at my mom's or my aunt's house, my uncle and aunt in Cerritos,
Mm-hmm.
right here in Gridley,
Mm-hmm.
and Artesia, right behind Gar High School.
Yep.
So that was like 93.
Okay.
So 93 when I came, man, it was like hip hop, like crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely like kind of the height of the first wave, kind of transitioning into the second wave of what I call the golden era of hip hop. Like that was a very special time for just the culture in general.
It was.
For
I
sure.
mean, it was like because when I went to the Philippines, it was MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, Andrew E, Gary Valentino. Then you come here, you're just like, man, hip hop's like way different, way better. B-boys, like it was just like everything. Boy group singers. Yeah, man. I mean,
The
it was
Filipino ones especially.
so the uncle and aunt that I stayed with, they were in my uncle was in a band. So, anyways, long story short, is they always had some kind of practice or party at their house, and that's how I got introduced to the turntables. Because my cousin had friends that DJ'd, and they would come over in session and bring the tables, and from there I was hooked, man. I was hooked. But yeah, Cerritos Mall, you could smoke back then. You could walk around, smoke a cigarette. It was crazy.
Inside Cerritos Mall?
Inside, yeah.
Smoke anywhere, restaurants, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, the 80s were, it was a wild time, man. I just, the older I get, like, looking back, like, on just the way, the social climate, like, in the 1980s, just like, there's never going to be a time like that again.
No.
Like, it was
Most
just,
definitely.
it was good, and it was crazy in ways that we're never probably, like I said, going to see, at least in our lifetime. Like, the whole, milk carton era, like, kids' faces, being, kidnapped, like just craziness, like just the things that, I mean, again, just, that I used to do as a kid, like I would never let my children do today, like 30 years later, like, not just like little things that you kind of like just took for granted back in the day. Like, I'm sure you guys all did this. Like we all went outside and rode bikes with our friends, or we skateboarded, or we played ball or whatever. Like, hey mom, dad, I'm going outside, or your friend would come over and knock on the door. Hey, can so-and-so come outside and play? And like, whatever. Like, yeah, all good. Like totally unsupervised. Like, but today it's just like, man, it's just a crazy world we live in. So it's just like, unfortunately, like, my kids and just other parents that I know, like, we're just very like watchful. You almost have to be. Just because, like, and it's not like out of fear or anything, but it's just like you just never know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so. But yeah, it's just like I said, like that was just a completely different time.
It is, man. I mean, even now, it's like I live in an apartment, and like I don't even know my neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, like you know what I mean. Like back then in Cerritos, like you knew, like at least 10 houses down, like everyone left or right, like
sure. Yep.
And everyone knew everyone. I mean, we still say hi today, but that small talk, it's like they have like that mentality of if you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you, kind of thing. But it's totally
Yeah, people. I think it's it really depends on the neighborhood. But for the most part, I agree. I think there's a tendency more now than there was, in the decades past, for people to kind of just keep to themselves.
It is.
Yep.
And it's kind of unfortunate because totally. Like I grew up in one of those neighborhoods, like literally every house on my cul-de-sac, like we were tight, like we were like a real neighborhood. Like 4th of July, there was block parties, like kids, like every house, you know, had a family, at least 2 kids, and like we all played together, and like, you know, all that stuff, all the kid stuff that was popping back then. Yeah, we all did it, breakdancing like out in the street, and like just yeah, it was fun.
We used to do that too, man.
Yeah, man,
Good
those are
times.
good times, good times, good times.
But even to, you know, because I'm from Baldwin Park, and every 4th of July, that's
BP?
probably, yeah,
man.
that's when all the like the community or the streets start battling each other with fireworks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always back and forth. And our team, like our street, we would cheer on everyone on our street, you know. And we start cussing at like the
right.
streets
It's
and
like a
stuff 'cause
battle.
we're all
Yeah,
drunk.
yeah.
We would battle. Yeah, good
yeah,
times.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't you do something, or I think in the late 90s or maybe early 2000s, there was like a general store, right?
Yeah. The guys from Mixwell, they had
Mixwell.
They had a spot called the General Store.
I think I walked in one time and you guys were like cutting up in the back or on the top or something. But you guys used to
Maybe.
practice there or something?
Yeah, we used to like when we didn't have a spot. There was a few places we would practice, but that was definitely one of them. The routine that stands out is the ITF, the World Championship. That's where we kind of put that whole
What year?
routine together. That was '98.
Not the 97 one? Where you guys were wearing like the blue shirts?
No, this was the year we defended. Or this is the year we battled the perverts and turnstiles. I think it's '98.
Can you pull it up? The
Was it
98
Green Jun-
ITF
Yeah, so
Beat
long
Junkies?
ago.
It's a team, right?
9.
Yeah,
9.
it's a team. Yeah. Team or team. Might be
97 is the
90. It's 98. Yeah, 98.
98.
Yeah.
97 was crazy. That DMC lineup with Babs winning beat juggling, scratching. You guys win
Oh, the
one
ITF?
world.
Yeah. That was.
You guys
that's pretty
ruled
sick.
that
Pretty
freaking
sick,
battle.
Yeah.
That one right there, right?
Uh,
98.
Yep. Yeah, right there. Yeah. This is 98.
Which
yeah, so-
routine is this one? So this was at the general store.
No, this was at the actual battle.
No, I mean like the routine where you guys practice.
Yeah, that's where we put it together. Yeah.
Wow.
Probably over 4 or 5 nights, something like that.
Babu, MELO-D.
Dude, you could do a commentary right now.
That's really nice.
Are you ready for start time?
Check it out. It's going down.
So obviously at this time, you guys
Yeah, we don't have to
you
watch
could
the
keep
whole
playing it, Jay.
We don't have to watch the whole thing.
No, I want to see this. But at this time when you guys were making your routines, how I mean like you guys were like really intricate, really detailed, technical, and it can't never be duplicated. And how long does it take for something like this when you guys were doing it? Or who is the mastermind? Like, you know, I mean, I know you guys all contribute, but
Yeah, we all kind of just contributed. It's just like, you know, when you're crafting something like this, you're basically writing a song. You know, you're
Yeah.
choreographing a routine, and so there's a lot of ingredients that go into it. So at the end of the day, it's really like just, you know, you have a jigsaw puzzle, you have 100 pieces, and it's
Yeah.
just about putting the pieces of the puzzle together in the right way to form the finished puzzle. But yeah, to answer your question, it was all of us, man. It was, I mean, myself, I definitely brought ideas to the table. To the fellas, J-Rock for sure. Rhett definitely, like, you know, came correct with some ideas. Babs, like, yeah, all of us, man. It was just like, you know, and something like that, it's always trial and error. It's always like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, I got this idea. Let's try this here, and then we'll try it. And it's like, it doesn't really sound, you know, let's try go another direction, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, you know, when you're doing, especially with 4 people. And then really what was helpful too is just that, you know, this is again kind of like at the peak of golden era hip hop. This is late 90s. This
Yep.
is, you know,
Yep.
turntablism at its height, right? Like it was still a fresh art form. And so we're constantly DJing, we're constantly practicing, you know, whether it's scratching, mixing, we're out there like just in front of crowds a lot. We're listening to a lot of hip hop. And I think just this is, you might, I mean, the guys might think differently, but I know for me thinking back, a lot of what helped put this routine together, at least the ideas that I brought,
Right.
were just like, again, like being around so much music and so much rap music and samples and things that were coming out, break records, you know, this is like, so just having like all these phrases and like, you know, hip hop, like, you know, lines and like just beats, like just like that we were writing to, you know what I mean, that we would listen to. We were buying records a lot, you know what I mean? So it's just like all this content all this audio was like just fresh in our brain. So it was nothing to like just. It's kind of like having like these mental.
But
record
what's
shelves.
crazy about your routines though is it's so funky. I mean, because at that
thanks, man.
time, 93, you had the Qbert, Mix
Yeah.
Master Mike, and they're just like shredding, right?
They're
Like
destroying
crazy,
it. Yeah,
destroying it.
Insane.
And then from there, you didn't really hear much about teams until like, the 97, 96, when you guys were start going in. Even at this time, like when you guys were battling, was it Scratch Perverts?
This year, I believe, Scratch Perverts and Turnstiles.
Yeah.
From
So
Canada.
even then, your guys' mentality was like so musical, versus like going in there with that mindset of like, let's just do combos, let's do these crazy tricks that no one's seen,
Right.
versus like this is a band.
Right.
You
That's
know.
kind of always been our style. Like when we talk about the beat junkie style, it's kind of a well-rounded, kind of conjecture of all the things that we feel make a great DJ. So obviously it's technical skill, but at the same time, like there's a lot to be said for just music selection, programming, just even like something like less technical, like if you're just out there DJing, like you're party rocking or whatever, like you're doing an hour set somewhere, like there's a lot of thought that goes into that should go into that, like what I mean. I believe in a strong work ethic, and I think that's been part of our success, is that we all kind of share that mindset, like we all believe like equally that all of those things, like they're all powerful components to make a great DJ. So yeah, I think that's why our style, like our routines sound the way they sound. I think that's why you're gonna hear like a lot of hip hop phrases. You're gonna hear like different riffs. You're obviously gonna hear scratching and what I mean, some turntablism, some real technical stuff. But
I think it was very technical, man.
But yeah, I have to say, like I'm pretty proud of the way we've over the years just tried to kind of maintain a healthy balance of all those things that we feel are important.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I remember staying up late for the Vive, was Vive right?
A TV show, yeah.
Oh, dude, that was crazy.
Oh, that was fun.
That was crazy.
Vive, what's Vive?
Vibe was a late night talk show that aired on KCOP
Channel 13.
or Channel 13,
Yeah.
KCOP or UPN network.
Yeah.
But it was basically like it was an urban late night talk show,
Okay.
and it started out with a host. He's still around. His name's Chris Spencer. He was an up and coming kind of comedian at the time, and he I think he did like the first like maybe month, and then they ended up replacing him with Sinbad, who was kind of fresh off of a different world. And,
Right.
he had made a name for himself on television.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
But it was basically like a talk show that ran for a season, and we filmed it out here at the CBS lot on Fairfax, and that was a full-time gig. I would be there 4 days a week. We would film an episode Monday, episode Tuesday, episode Wednesday, and then 2 on Thursday to
Right.
cover Thursday and Friday, and then we would wrap. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, that was just like a bona fide like television production. It was a real
Yeah.
production,
Sick.
like live audience. We all had our own dressing rooms. I was part of the house band,
Right.
so there was a band. Greg Fillinganes was the band director, and for anyone that's not familiar with him,
Right.
he co-produced just a lot of just like timeless music in the 80s. Probably the one to cite the most is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh really?
Yeah. So and Off the Wall, he worked alongside Quincy Jones. It was actually him and Quincy Jones that hired me for that gig to be on the show. But he was the band director, and then I was the DJ, and then we
Right.
had a drummer, a keyboard player, bass guitar, lead guitar. So I think we were 6-piece, and then Greg, he was the leader. So he was kind of like like the Paul Schaefer, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun, and we performed like with guests. So like when like Aaliyah came.
Oh, yeah, rest in
Destiny's
peace.
Child.
Oh,
I performed
man.
with Destiny's Child. James Brown came through. We would have like guest performances every week, but we would perform their music.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so like, during rehearsal, we would like with Aaliyah, I remember the song was Hot Like Fire. She did Hot Like Fire. And so, I DJ'd, and the band kind of, live, they did a live version of the track. And she sang over it like live on TV. And so that was super. I wish I had pictures from that stuff. Like I never toted a camera around with me, but it would just be fun just to have all that stuff. just kind of just catalog.
definitely.
But it's all up here in the
Having
headspace.
pictures with
So
Aaliyah.
So how
Yeah.
did Beat Junkies get in the show? Was that something that you put on the table, or?
yeah, we had just won that battle.
Right.
So, I told the producers that I was leaving to go to Amsterdam because that's where the battle was
Right.
held. We were going, oh, why are you going out there? All of my crew were competing in this battle. It's a world championship. Oh, well, good luck. Let's know how it goes. So, we won. We took the title and came back. And so it was kind of like their way of kind of celebrating like their DJ.
Oh, dope.
So they like, let's make a slot for him and for his crew. So, yeah, we ended up performing, I think, like just a couple minutes, not the entire 6-minute routine or whatever it was, but we did like maybe like a minute and a half or two.
Right.
Just of that routine.
That was so bad because I think who was on the radio at that time at Power, the Beat?
Oh, the Baker Boys. I was on the beat with Julio G. Everyone was on the radio.
Yeah, because they would promote it too. They were like, "Vibe tonight, check it out, Be Junkies." We're like, "What?"
Oh, dang! I never knew that.
All
Yeah,
the homies were
crazy.
like, "What? Tonight on TV?"
I know for sure Julio. Shout out to Julio G. Like for sure, he pumped it up. He would anything that we were doing or I was doing. That was newsworthy or notable, like a nice achievement. He would always he always had our back. Like he always
Oh, yeah,
shouted
dude.
out and stuff. That's my man right there.
So how long were
G's
you
up.
at the Beat?
The Beat, I was there from 95 until about 2002. So yeah, 7 years.
So this is
and
when it was 92.3, right?
92.3, yeah. And the first station
So
was
small.
actually it was a real small kind of ghetto studio in Hollywood off of Yucca and Highland, not too far from the Hollywood Highlands.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just real, just kind of just dinky studio that they had been broadcasting out of for probably 2, maybe almost 3 years before I got there with Julio. And the way that came about, that was all kind of timed around competing. And I met Julio through a record pool. Shout out to the Baker Boys and
Right.
their elder brother Frank V. Had a rest in peace, Frank V. He had a record pool called Ghetto Baby, and it was myself, Babu, the Junkies, Jay, Rhett, the Baker Boys, obviously. Who else? C minus, Mr. Chalk. So that's how kind of we all
Right.
met all the LA DJs. DJ Vice was a member of the pool. He was actually Frank V's assistant. But anyhow, Tony G and Julio G were also members of the record pool because at the time they had a show on 92.3 called the Ruthless Radio Show that was actually Eazy-E's radio show.
Right.
And so they co-hosted that with him on Saturdays. And I never had a chance to meet Eazy, but Julio just over the years would just share so many like just really cool stories. He just sounded like just a real mofo. Just always looked out for his people.
Right.
Just had a lot
Right.
of love for just like his family and his dear
Yeah.
friends. Like, but anyhow, so when the Beat started doing well, this is kind of, they were coming up. They weren't really like poking elbows at Power 106. Like they were far off the radar in that sense, but they were starting to pick up a little bit, like get a little bit of momentum going. And so they opened up a Monday through Friday slot and they wanted Julio to be the host. So Julio, he was actually DJing on Eazy-E's show. He was the actual DJ.
Right.
So he would put the mixes together, him and Tony. But then when they gave him the Monday through Friday, he was like, and I met him through the record pool, and I just won DMC or something or other. Anyhow, he called me and he was like, he's like, hey Mel, he's like, I got this slot, but I need a DJ. He's like, I can't host the show and DJ 6 nights a week. He's like, you want to come rock? I'm like, hell yeah. Like, what do I got to do? And so he's like, man, just put together, like, I still have it. Put together like a little 15-minute demo so I can submit it to the PD, the music director over here. They can check you out. And, he kind of gave me some parameters, some guidelines,
Right.
like, just stick to the ones, you know what I mean? The records and
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right, So I did it. I literally did it like that night. I was so like just pumped.
Oh man, I would have been
so,
pumped too. Man.
yeah,
DJ
I
on the
right?
radio.
Yeah. I mean, that was a huge deal back then. Like to be on the radio,
yeah.
like this is pre-internet, pre-iTunes, like all
It's
you. It
pre-everything,
was either
dude.
like you had AM, FM, you had like a pull-out, you had a CD player. If you were balling, you had like the 6-disc changer and the whip. You
So
know
what did
I
you
mean?
make? What did you do?
I don't remember the exact. It was like I remember a crisscross record that had come out that the station was playing. I just basically made like a mix, like just kind of like like 2 verses, 2 choruses. But
Right.
it was probably like a 15. I still have the cassette somewhere at home or in storage.
Did you
Actually,
do any cuts? Any?
a little bit,
just-
a little bit.
right.
Yeah, just a
That
little
was
bit
a must back in the day, right?
for sure. But I 4-tracked it. I
Right.
tracked it out. I took my time because I wanted it to sound good.
Of course. Yeah.
So I was trying to be thoughtful when putting it together. And then I got the gig, and but that was and that was really exciting. Like at the time, I was still in school, and I was living at home with my folks in Cerritos. So I would commute from home to UC Irvine, 3-4 days a week for classes. And then I would leave Irvine, drive back to Cerritos, drop off my school bag, pick up my record bag, and I'd leave from Cerritos and go to Hollywood. And then I'd do that 5 nights a week, and then turn around and come back home. I'd get home, I don't know, 11:30, whatever. That was it was a lot of work. But prior to that, part of the reason it was so exciting, other than obviously being on the radio, but I was working at a bank not too far from here. I was working at Wells Fargo. I don't know if it's still there. Is that branch still there?
On Bellflower Boulevard.
Yeah, right there. In Flower, right? Bellflower and Flower. But I was there with a friend of mine. He actually got me that gig or that job. And I was there for 3 years, almost 3 years. And then, I got this job as a mix show DJ on the radio. And that was my passion and what I really wanted to do. So it was starting to come together. It was wow, I got a job DJing, a paid job, DJing, a week to week, I'm getting a check, and I'm on the radio, and now I'm getting all these free records, and you know what I mean? Everyone's hooking me up, and I'm meeting artists and stuff. I'm meeting artists and everything, and that was a real special time, man. Shout out to Hooli G and Tony G for putting me on. They obviously I had no experience ever DJing on the radio. I'd done a couple guest sets, but that was more when we would go battle, I would go on and do 5 or 6 minutes of a routine. Me and Babu or me and J Rock DJ'd a couple times on Julio's show. But it was a big learning experience because instinctively, I just want to play all the records that I liked.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a formula to it, and they worked with me. I was a little rough around the edges in the beginning, not so much technically mixing, obviously, but that I had down. But it was more of just the programming side of it that I had to learn about, and having to start to pay attention to charts. And learning about ratings and different day parts.
Right.
This music makes more sense to put in the morning, or in this music, okay, you can take
it was
a little
all
more
down to a T,
yeah. There was a science to it. And then there was the nighttime, which was our time slot where you could be a little more loose with the programming. You could play records that you would stay away from during office hours. Because people used to have the beat, they listen to the beat, during their lunch or whatever. You know what I mean? So we keep it chill, R&B. Mary J, whatever R&B was out at the time, a little bit of hip hop, but more kind of hip hop that was R&B hip hop,
right?
So stuff like that. But at nighttime, we could really we could crank it up a notch.
And then you had a slot, right, for the menu mix.
Yeah, so that was my mix show. Yeah,
your mix
so
show.
30,
we used to
30-minute set.
We used to my DJ buddies back then when I started, we literally pull over. Just to listen, because he would have different intros once in a while, and we would figure out. We would figure out all right, what intro we're gonna play today, and we would just trip out. Bigs up on those.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about those, but yeah, that was fun. I mean, it was just it really helped me grow as a DJ. Ultimately, looking back on it, because just the programming side, there's just so much. That it's so important, and that carries over into live DJing. When you're playing an event or a club, or even a showcase. If it's an hour set, I recently had a chance to DJ with Z-Trip down in Orange County.
Oh yeah.
And so I played an hour set, but it's really something like that comes down to programming. I mean, the technical side, a routine here, a routine there, a scratch here, a scratch there, that's all good. That's kind of to me, that's kind of the easy part. The challenge is really sustaining the interest of your audience. You know what I mean? And that's all done through the music. That's done through the music, and it's done through song selection and how you kind of just bob and weave, in between genres. And it's, so, I mean, the radio helped me out just tremendously, just to grow, in terms of that facet of DJing.
But you know what's crazy is when you were on the radio, how old were you around that age in the beat when you were doing that menu mix?
Yeah, early 20s.
So early 20s, man, you were doing technical stuff on live air. You were literally
taking chances. Yeah.
So I mean, would you say that helped you mentally to stay clean? Because you are well known for one of the cleanest or the cleanest mixed DJ, scratch DJ all around. So would you say being live, you had no choice mentally? How did you mentally prep or practice for something like that?
Yeah, now that you're talking about it, I was probably for the first. I mean, it took me a while. I can't put a finger on exactly how long, but I definitely remember that for sure, the first week, maybe, I mean, for sure longer than that, but just being super nervous, super nervous, trembling nervous, before I go on the air, because I'm in a studio, I'm at a radio station, and it's just in your mind, you're in a studio, you're in a a DJ studio,
Right.
you're in a room by yourself basically with a monitor and you're set up, kind of like we're sitting here now.
Right.
Right.
But there's potentially, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, if not close to 1 million people listening, and just like it's hard to. I was completely brand new to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that part of it really messed with me, like mentally, and it took me I didn't get comfortable until we ended up moving. The beat ended up doing very well. Segue real quick, and the ratings did good, and they ended up moving to. I think it's now the E Entertainment Building, but it was a high-rise building on Wilshire Boulevard across from La Brea Tar Pits.
Right.
Brand new studio, brand new sales office, executive side, like proper radio station.
That's when you guys had Theo, right?
Yeah, Theo was there too when I came on in '95. He was already there.
I listened to Theo too.
Yeah, everyone listened to Theo, man.
Yeah.
Damn, where's Theo at, man? That's the homie right there. Yeah, but
Asian with a really deep voice, man.
yeah. And then once by the time we moved, I think that was around '97. So that I'd been there maybe like a year and a half, or at or around there.
Right.
And things happened pretty quickly in a good way for the radio station as a whole. We got this new studio space, and I just remember like being. They actually came to me and like, okay, like we're building you guys a new mix room. What do you guys want? And so I was like, wow, like really, like anything. So this is like the Vestex 07 Pro or 05.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like with the hamster switch, I was like, please, like, can we get one of these in there? Let's get this monitor. And so they literally built me the studio that I wanted. Like it was so dope. And but I remember like that time. That's when I remember feeling like, okay, this is it. Like I got this. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
comfortable. Like I was loose to the point where it's just like. I kind of understood the formula better.
Right.
Like I said, shout out to my program directors, Mariama Snyder and Michelle S. For working with me and kind of guiding me and coaching me. Like, I mean, that's cool. You played that record, but like, there's plenty of other go-tos, and they gave me a lot of room for maneuverability. Like, they would let me do my thing. So, it wasn't uncommon for you to tune in on any night of the week and hear me playing like Quasimodo or some kind of indie rock as 12-inch or something like that. They were cool with that, but just like within reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't abuse it. But yeah, I mean, I just remember like that was kind of the time where I felt comfortable to the point where just like, again, going back to what we were talking about battling, like I was listening to so much music. I knew it like the back of my hand. I knew verse 1, 2, and 3 by heart.
Right.
I knew where the breaks were. I mean, this is records. I knew where the needle drop. And so it came to a point where when I was still a student, I think I was my last year at UC Irvine, I would literally just like, there were days where I would just, go to school. I would come home, drop off my school bag. And, in the past, I would try and practice and put a radio set together.
Right.
But it came to a point where I was familiar enough with the music and with the environment, with the setting, where I was just like, I'm playing this today, this. Just throw them in a bag and jump in the car and just head out to the station. Like, yeah, but that took a while for me to grow into that. It took a while for me to grow into that. Like a good, I'll just say 2 years to really get comfortable and just everything. And there's other peripherals that come with that. I mean, you're part of the music industry now, and the beat was again, like, 2 years into my tenure there, like it was a big deal. Like, so now we're getting more attention, more light, more opportunity. So you're dealing with that side of it too. You're cultivating relationships. You're getting opportunities from record labels to work with artists, do remixes, get DJ gigs or get flown out here to DJ with, this DJ, that DJ. And,
you guys took over the airwaves. I mean, your whole crew, because you guys some was at the Power as well. At that time.
Chalk was over at Power.
Chalk was Power, yeah.
He was an MC, right? I mean,
he was
a host.
on-air personality, and then he DJ'd a lot too. He was doing the old school mix at noon. He used to, I think that was a 2-hour set that Chalk used to do, but he used to burn that set down. Like, he used to kill it. And then I remember like driving to the building on Wilshire. I think my show was at 7, maybe 8 o'clock at one point, and then they gave me a full hour. But I remember driving up there and listening to Chalk do the 5 o'clock traffic jam. I used to flip back between him and our 5 o'clock guy, which was Joe Rodriguez. And I used to just like flip back and forth. And so it was like I could listen to DJing while I'm DJing. So then they're exposing me to like new records or, because Power and the beat, their formats kind of overlapped, but the beat was way more R&B than Power 106 ever was, you know. And then there was definitely a time where Power 106 they flip-flop. They would go from like, hip hop, and then they became like the party station at one point, and then they went back to hip hop, and then like we became a real thorn in their side at one point. The beat did, so then they started to go hip hop R&B, but then still a little bit of party stuff. And but it was cool because like I was getting exposed to everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was hearing them play
Yeah.
different records. Chalk would play different records, and I would play, you know what I mean? And vice versa. I would play stuff that he would he wouldn't
Every
necessarily
hour there
play.
was some dope DJ. I mean,
Yeah.
in the morning you had E-Man,
Yep.
you know, and
Yep.
then Ice had a slot too with
Mhm.
the beat.
Yeah.
And then Curse was in there, I
Curse
remember.
was in the mix. Yep.
Who else am I missing that was like around that time too?
J-Rock was part of Friday Night Flavors.
Yes.
With the Baker Boys, Chalk, Truly Odd, C minus. Yeah, I think you got everybody. Ice. Symphony was on the Ice's younger sister. She was on the air for a little while. Rhett Matic. We used to do a specialty show with Be Real and Eric Bobo, Cypress Hill, on Fridays, and yeah, the whole crew, man. I mean, and that was really, again, that all goes back to Julio and Tony G. Like they brought me in, and then you know, as the radio station grew, DJing was, you know, becoming more widespread, more popular. So they, you know, they started seeing like an addition of more mix shows, so they needed more DJs.
Of course.
You
Right.
know, so like Julio he basically pulled in our crew one guy at a time, and then yeah, a few of the fellas ended up over at Power 106. Chalk was already there, so and that was, you know, right kind of in J-Rock's wheelhouse, like a specialty hip hop show. You know what I mean? So they used to kill that on Fridays, and yeah, that was a great time. That was a really special time. I talked to Julio. You know, we're still dear friends, and I talked to him, and like when we get caught up talking about like that time, we just always say to each other like, wow, like how grateful we are to even have been a part of that era, because like radio today is
Oh, yeah.
so different. Like I can't imagine, like even it just like I couldn't even imagine
You
doing
don't
it,
even
like,
hear, you know, the technical stuff that was, you know, everyone was doing back then on the radio, like live, even from E-Man. I mean, E-Man would do it once in a while. He'll do some trick mix. Like,
yeah,
you
he
know,
used to get busy. Yeah,
I would be like, damn, finally, someone's doing something.
right.
Because later, you know, like I listen to radio still.
Yeah, so do
You
I.
know,
I
le-
listen every day.
Yeah, later, you know, on the afternoon shows, it's just pure mix. There's-
Like honestly, like when I'll hear some scratching, like I'll turn it up. I'll turn it up, try to
Right.
hear it.
Mm.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
At least you
good.
know there's like a real person.
Yeah, yeah.
still DJing. But just the format, like I mean, commercial. When I say radio, I mean commercial radio.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just changed a lot. Like those days of like having the freedom to play independent records, or kind of the DJs making their own choices, literally every other song. Or if I was playing 8 songs in a 30-minute set, and 3 of them were my own personal picks, like you can't get away with that anymore. There's no way. I mean, unless you have a specialty show, obviously, like you're good. But you know, if you're doing like a Monday through Friday, like, you know, regular waking hours time slot, like there's just no room for that. So that's what Julio and I talk about. Just like we had complete freedom to actually break records.
Was there a DJ, like say back then when you were in the radio, was there another DJ where you would, you know, kind of be like, damn, like he's spinning today.
Yeah.
You know,
Man,
like
Chalk. I used to like Chalk. DJ Ron.
Oh, Ron,
used
yeah,
to get
yeah.
busy.
Yeah, Ron.
He used to kill it. And
he's still, I think he's on XM, I think, right now.
yeah. I saw.
Old school mix.
I recently found him on IG, and yeah, I see he's still active, so
Yeah.
that's dope. Yeah, he was always like fun to listen to. Revolution used to
Revolution's
kill
good.
it. It's funny. I remember Rev, like when he first came to LA. You know, he got really good like really quick. Like when he first jumped on the air, like he could mix, you know what I mean? But apart from like, you know, clean mixing, like was really nothing special. Like his scratching, like, you know, not that it was basic, but it was nowhere near like, I mean,
Right.
literally like within a matter of like months, like he just like, whoa, like where did all this come
Is
from?
this
Like,
before the Wake Up Show or?
this was
this-
no Wake Up Show. Like this is the Wake Up Show era. So this is probably around the time I got on the radio. Like I don't know exactly when he came over and started doing the Wake Up Show, but I just remember like 'cause I used to listen to the Wake Up Show on Saturday nights.
Yeah, yeah. We used to
and,
record those on tape.
Yeah. Yeah, when he would get to his mix, like I'd be tuned in just because I'm a DJ, and you know what I mean. I want to hear the DJ.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was always clean, like always super nice with it, like in the blend. You know what I mean, like with the blend and the mix, and then I just remember like at some point, like it was just like whoa. I just remember like damn, like this guy just like he just like it just turned up like
Yeah.
few notches, like, you know, just went from like, you know, DEFCON like 1 to DEFCON 5 like overnight. Like
we
he
would
just got
figure like who
sick.
the heck is doing these fast ass terps and
Yeah,
flares
and
and
he
like
developed
these-
his own style, and so Rev was always
but he
used to
played a
check him out.
dope hip hop though. Like back then, that's how I found
yeah.
out who was like, you know, Slum Village and
yeah
Dilla
for
and,
sure. Yep.
you know, Jurassic 5, like, you know, all these records was like,
Oh, yeah.
those are the times that they played it. I mean, they played some Jurassic 5 beat nuts, you know, on the radio commercial, but we didn't know that it was like that deep, like those crews back then, you know.
Totally.
So it was a amazing time
Yeah.
in radio for sure.
And it's funny, like, you know, every now and again, I'll be out somewhere and someone will come up and start, you know, dialoguing with me about the radio and about the beat. And we start talking about music and some of my mixes. And those are the songs that they remember me playing. They don't remember me playing like the hit that was the obvious hit. They remember me playing the Jurassic 5
Right.
or what I used to do with this certain,
Right.
you know, indie 12-inch. It's just like, that's the stuff that people, that they remember. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like I said, that was the cool thing about it, is that during that era, we had the time to like, just kind of, we had the freedom to do that, to
Right.
do stuff like that. So yeah, shout out to everybody at the beat, man, and Julio and Tony and all the DJs from that era. Like, that was definitely a special time in LA for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, definitely. I think, you know, again too, it's like, you know, the cultures change. Like you said, that was like the peak for DJs. A lot of, you know, before social media, you had no choice but to go somewhere
Right.
to be heard or to see something, watch something. I mean, literally, when I say pulled over, I mean, yeah, we would pull over when you would go on. Seriously,
It's funny.
you know, because we didn't want to drive. We would be like, "Yo, let's listen to the intro." Is that
That's
true?
what's about radio. You just drive and listen. That's cool. about it.
We wanted to like,
This is like,
man,
no,
you
no,
guys
pull
you guys
over.
were tuned in.
Pull
yeah,
over.
we wanted
That's
to
cool. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
But is it true that was there a little help with Babs in the recording process of those intros, or that's all you? I would just,
No, that was with the recording process.
I guess, making the intros. Like, you know how sometimes before you do your mix, you had like those little.
Yeah, scratch intro.
Yeah, scratch intro.
No, that was all me. I did something on his comprehension mixtape, and then he did something on mine. But I don't think there was ever anything that we did together that I used as an intro on the air.
There you go. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That was all mellow.
Yeah. No, that was definitely all me. Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
cool. So there were some conversations that, you know.
Oh, like he was ghost scratching for me. Or
yeah,
something?
or making you something, you know, maybe with your busy, you know, school, work, and, you know, radio.
No, definitely not true.
That's crazy how you balance all that at that time to make it happen.
Yeah, looking
know.
back, just, you know, I spent a lot of time on the freeways, like just going from Cerritos to Orange County, back to Cerritos, back to LA, then back home, like 5, then at 1.6 nights a week. 'Cause I started doing a specialty show with Julio on Saturdays. But, you know, other than that, I didn't have any other commitments. I didn't have, you know, family or, you know, anything like that, kids or anything like that. And DJing was my job. So it's not like I had to work another
Right.
job. You know what I mean? I just had to be a student and, you know, get through that. And then, DJ like when I could. But yeah, that was, it was really cool. Like, I just, looking back, it's just like, you know, I've been very fortunate. A lot of, you know, kind of right place, right time. I feel like, you know, opportunities that fell into my lap with the Vibe TV show, you know, which catapulted me into big room DJing in Vegas for a decade plus. That was another major milestone in my DJ career.
So
just becoming
after
part of that
radio,
circuit.
did you go straight? Was that, you know, so when you left radio, there's a point where you left, right? Or did you go try to hunt another radio station?
No, I left in 2002. I just there was the corporation that owned the beat 92.3 was Clear Channel, and they ended up selling it. I don't know the exact details of the actual deal, but they ended up making a deal with this other corporation. I think they were from Atlanta. They were called Radio One. They were more of an urban corporate network. So they ended up doing this deal where they sold the beat 92.3, that signal, to this other corporation, Radio One, for like a really like dirt cheap number. But they, in exchange, they also got what was it? 102.3.
Yeah, yeah.
100.3.
100.3?
The beat.
No. That's what it was. They sold the beat to Radio One, but Clear Channel kept the 92.3 and they gave them this other 100.3
100.3
signal
Yeah.
that because Clear Channel owned like 300 plus stations across the country. So they're like, look, we're going to sell you the beat, you know, and we're going to give you 100.3, and this is the amount, you know, but we're keeping this 923 because 923 was the better signal.
Yeah.
Like that was where the juice was at.
That's when they had like Steve Harvey doing a more. It was like, I don't know, like gospel music. and-
Yeah, it just completely changed.
Changed,
It went
big time.
a different. It just the way it was ran was just very poor in my opinion. Not that I knew a lot about the executive side,
Right.
but just the vibe, the energy shift that happened. I just remember just dreading going up there. Like it was just not fun anymore, and it was because of the environment. Like
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
had fun DJing and hanging out with Julio. And we would go to events and stuff here and there, and then the music was kind of changing a little bit. Like this is kind of like the jiggy era,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that wasn't, I was still very rooted in hip hop and turntablism and stuff like that. So I wasn't really into, I'm not mad at it. They're classics now, but like stuff that was coming out like Ludacris and this is kind of like the early crunk days and the hip hop was
Lil
coming
Jon,
from other
East
parts.
Side Boys.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
not. I was never a fan of that stuff. Like this, it's like just
'Cause
to make me cringe. Like it's like, oh, I'm not playing this, and that's kind of like the direction it was going. And so I just, I remember talking to Julio about it. Like, man, I just, and he would always convince me to stay. Like I probably told him I was like leaving like 6 times, and he was just like, come on, Mel, like, nah, come on, man, we got to ride this out. And then I finally, at one point, I just tapped out. I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't fake the funk anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Julio stayed for, I don't know, not too much longer. And then
yeah, he had different DJs.
yeah, I forget who.
But
came
at that
in.
time, what I remember too is every month we would try to figure out, all right, who's leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
we
was
were
a lot
like,
of
someone's
changes.
leaving, someone's changing their time
Yeah,
slots.
There's a lot of changes happening there. So Julio ended up leaving, and then we ended up doing, with our same program director, we ended up doing a specialty show called Aqua Boogie for like 2 years over at, it was called Hot 92. So it was
Hot
like an old
92.
school
Yeah.
station, but that was super fun. Like, it was kind of like, kind of the same team. A lot of people from the beat, from the original beat, the crew that I was a part of, were over at Hot 92, but it was a different building, which was near kind of the Warner Brothers lot off of Riverside Drive right there, Clear Channel corporate building, proper radio station. But yeah, same thing. Like, I mean, it was our same program director, and she knew like what we were about. So she gave us like a perfect specialty show, took
What?
care of us. We got paid pretty handsomely for it. It was just once a week.
Right.
And that was really cool for me because working with Julio, who's like, my senior, like a mentor to me, like he was around, years before I was, like, so he was putting me on music. Like I grew up in the 80s, and I had like a, again, this is all records.
Yeah.
So I had like a decent, disco, funk, R&B collection. But now, like when I'm going record shopping, I'm looking for like these, South Soul and like funk 12 inches, what I mean? Like just like special versions, like double appellas, stuff like that. Like just finding new records to play and putting these different mixes together. So
Are you
that-
still doing that? Are you still looking for records?
Oh yeah, always. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't record shop as often as I used to,
Mhm.
but for sure, I get caught up every time I walk into a record store or a record fair. I know a big thing now is like people buy records online,
Yep.
which I'm not really like. To me, I'm just like, I know it's very old school, but it's just like I still love. I feel like there's
Get
a
your
lot to be
fingers
said
dirty.
for-
You gotta
yeah,
dig,
just
man.
like just putting your hands on the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
physical record, and it's just like I feel like for like my kids, like their generation, like the youth, like I kind of feel like it's a little disheartening because it's like I just remember being a kid and like getting an album, like, and just like staring at the cover, you know what I mean, and reading the credits, and then like some albums, like you could open up, like Michael Jackson, the lyrics would be like
Yep.
on the inside sleeve, like, you know what I mean, like, or even like a CD, like just the production credits, and sometimes the CD booklet would have the lyrics, and you know what I mean, have
Yeah,
real
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
like just artwork, you know what I mean, that came with the album, and now it's like you click a button and it's just like ding, downloading, and you push play, and it's just like, and that's cool because it's like immediate gratification,
Right.
like, but I don't know, man, it's just like I don't know, like I said, just. That
You
was
wanna dig.
that was part of the attraction of just
You
buying
wanna
records.
dig.
Getting a new
Vinyls
record
expensive
and-
right now. It went back up.
oh, it's more expensive now than ever. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of that is because of the online stuff. Like it's just like people, these leading websites that buy, trade, and sell records. Like
Yeah,
they
there's
know
an
what
app
they're
for
worth.
that.
Yeah, they know what they're worth, so they're kind of like setting the bar in terms of like price. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's hard to walk into like a a spot and find like this crazy killer record for $1. You know what I mean?
Even
Like it's just
Swami right now, they don't even have records for $1.
Oh yeah,
It's like $2.
Yeah,
it's like $2-3.
That's still pretty good. $2-3, like yeah.
Back then it would be like 25 cents, pick whatever, and then you could still haggle, get like
yeah, no, for sure.
Now they're like asking like it's like a pretty penny,
Yeah, digging was so fun. Like especially like the school that I come from, like you wanted to have 2 copies of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Doubles.
so, but sometimes, doubles. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you
doubles.
only found one, and then like maybe like 3 months later, like just randomly you would just find that double, like and just make the pair, and just the feeling was just like, wow, got it. Like
You think that you think that'll ever come back? I mean, for the new generation, you think they're gonna, the new generation's gonna, want to have that doubles or look for them, or you think that ever?
I think there's always going to be a place for it. This is just my opinion. There's definitely always going to be a place for vinyl, and whether you're collecting or using it actively as a DJ, like a working DJ. I don't think it's necessarily going anywhere. But at the same time, like neither is technology. So for the hardcore, the people that are really into records, into that
Right.
that sound, analog sound, that want to actually DJ, that want to do doubles or have doubles, for sure. Like there's going to be like hardcore heads that are just going to be out there getting after it. You know what I mean? They're going to be out there digging and record shopping. But then for the people that do clubs or just do a lot of their digging online, or members of record pools or music services, MP3 music services type stuff, like they're gonna their go-to is kind of setting their record digging is opening up their laptop and just spending 3-4 hours online and buying stuff or downloading stuff or like whatever, just kind of surfing the net and getting their music that way.
So do you transfer your so say you find a track on a record, do you transfer, or do you actually time to time you actually just bring the real record and play it live?
Today in 2019?
today, 2019.
No, I mean I'll digitize it.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
digitize it. But there are like Rhett Maddock and I did an all vinyl night at the Low End Theory recently. So that was cool just to be able to like just play live. And now teaching like our DJ school. We teach the first half of our year-long program is on vinyl.
Right.
And so just through that, I've just kind of like reestablished my. I've been using records a lot, like in the last 2 years, like
That's
a lot,
dope.
like every week, like whether it's for practicing or recording or making like a video for my social media pages. Like I just we were just talking.
So
about
you don't go
too,
through your like say your library of at home and you pop up and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna bust this double live.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's kind of the cool thing of this, like we were talking off camera, like just being in front of like your record collection, like can spark an idea, and it's just like I do that sometimes. I'll find a record. I'll be like, you know what? Let me just see if I can put something together with this. You know, like a minute video or whatever for IG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes
Is that your process with the IG? I mean, I'm just curious. I know you've been posting a lot lately. Your minute or two videos.
Yeah.
So is that your process? You just go look and.
It's a bit of both. I mean, some of them are pre-existing routines that I've done that I've just done for years. Some of them are things that I've done like at gigs, and I'm just like, let me see if I can just kind of extend this and make a cool little minute thing out of it. And some of them are spontaneous like that, where it's just on both sides with records and with my library, my digital library in Serato. Like I'll pull up a song and just try and like put something together. And sometimes I come up with stuff, and sometimes I just don't like it. Just,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm very thorough. I'm quite a perfectionist. So usually if I pull a record randomly or like see a song, I'm pretty adamant about trying to like come up with something. Like I'm not a giver upper, So, but for the most
I like
part,
that Beat Nuts off the books doubles that you do.
Oh, thanks.
Even
Yeah,
back in the days, man. I
Yeah,
think
that's like stuff like that. Yeah, stuff
that
I've
was
done for years.
crazy.
Do you still
So-
remember like old school routines?
Sometimes I have to just run through them.
Run through 'em a
Yeah,
little
spend some
bit.
time with it if I haven't done it in a while.
Right.
And then there's definitely been some where I've had to go back and like rewatch. Just be like, wow, I can't even remember how, because I just haven't touched the record in that way in so long. Like I'll have to just go back and kind of rewatch and just dissect it. Be like, okay, I did this pattern for 4 bars here. That segued into this pattern, and then I have to just like actually like kind of teach myself
Yeah,
the pattern
yeah.
again.
You gotta
And, but
open
yeah,
up
so
that part of your brain where it's stored.
yeah. But you know, it feels good when it comes back. It's like, okay, yeah, you can still do it. It's just like just a big like refresher, like
Yeah,
review
yeah.
course thing. So
It's satisfying when you get it though, right?
yeah. It's
Oh, I
just
bet.
like it's
It's
kind of like
satisfying.
tackling like a big project because it's just like, oh man, where do I start? Just like, all right, you know, so stuff like that. Like when you put the time in, you know, and you put the focus in, like it usually comes back to
Hell
you.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that stuff's always fun for sure.
So is there like so Cerritos is kind of known for a mecca of great DJs, like a lot of great DJs.
I've even heard that in my city.
Oh, okay.
So-
Cerritos is a spot, man.
Were you?
DJs.
Are you still in BP?
I'm still in BP.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah. You're
He's
not
still in
too far.
BP. You gotta move, man. You gotta move down
Yeah,
here.
I'm trying to.
You're not far at all. You're like 20 minutes.
But who is there an underrated DJ that's in Cerritos or that came from Cerritos that's like, man, that guy is still
That never really like kind of got the the light. Dang, underrated. I mean, I knew a lot of really dope DJs. I wouldn't say underrated, man, because when I or just unknown even. So when I was like learning, not even coming up, but just learning, just trying to.
that's probably
learn.
still even spinning now.
Some of them aren't, but I mean, the guys that I used to look up to, obviously in my crew, DJ Curse, Rhetmatic, they were definitely like just the game crushers back then, like just leading the whole mobile scene. So this is all like mobile, you know, the mobile days. Like people were doing high school dances, house parties, like big hall jams. You'd get like 2 or 3 of these mobile sound systems together and get like a hall full of 18 and over, 1,000 kids. You know what I mean? That would come out and party to all the music that was out at the time. But there was this guy that I went to high school with. He was a year older than me, and his mobile crew was Audio Dimension, and he went by DJ White Knight.
White Knight used to work at Sam
Used
Ash.
to work at Sam Ash. Yeah. But he was dope, man. To me, like he was probably, I mean, he was up there with the best of them at the time. I mean, with Rhett, with Curse. I mean, so this is like late 1980s. You know, and all 3 of them, those guys were just up on the styles that were being flexed. Like, so like, you know, out here on the West Coast, it was kind of Joe Cooley, DJ Aladdin, Bobcat, the K-Day Mixmasters, like all the styles, like they were kind of like the forefathers, the pioneers of the West Coast style of DJing to me. And these guys in my area, specifically Curse, Rhett, White Knight, there was definitely a handful of other guys that were dope that could scratch, and like they had the tear scratch down. They had
I think I saw him
down.
at your birthday party.
Yeah, he came and rocked my 40th
in
birthday.
Cerritos.
Yeah. So
Right?
that was
I
White
was
Knight.
like, what?
And it was crazy. He stopped DJing some years ago, and you know, so we're using Serato. It's at a small little bar. I had a 40th birthday party.
Right.
So I asked him. I was like, man, can you come do a set for me? And he's like, man, I haven't DJed, and I don't even have a laptop. I don't have Serato. So he actually, I forget who, one of the homies loaned him a laptop, and he practiced on Serato for like a week, and he came out and did his thing, man. He rocked it. Like,
oh man,
he probably had like the set of the night, to be honest with you. Like now that I think about it, at one point it was a
so
blur because
dope.
I not knocked back so much tequila that night. But
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, now he shout out to White Knight, man. That's the homie right there. Like it's a funny story with him and I. Like our class. So I graduated in '91. He graduated in 1990. But for some reason, his class and my class just didn't like each other. Like mofos just did not get along. Like, and it was just like, it was tension, it was beef, there'd be fights, and like, you know, a lot of like slander and like, you know, talking stuff, you know. It was just always beef. And so that carried over with my relationship with him. So we did not get off to a friendly start at all. In fact, like
Damn.
him and his whole squad used to punk me. Like,
Oh.
because I was just starting to DJ. Like, I didn't know anything. I wasn't shit back then. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to scratch. I was trying to teach myself. I didn't have anybody that I didn't know any of these guys. I didn't know
Yeah,
Red.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know Curse. I just like admired them from afar, you know? And I wanted to be like them. And White Knight, just
What
seeing
year was this?
So this is like 87, 88, 89, 90. This went on for like probably 3 years. Because the high school
Wow.
I went to was grade 7 through 12.
Right.
So I think my interest in DJing was probably around 8th grade, and so he was 9th grade, and yeah, so like during those years, I mean, my very first gig was my junior year, so that would have been 1990. So he would have been a senior, and it was my very first live gig. It was a dance at our school,
Right.
and
Damn, you lucked the gig at school?
yeah, but those were all. He used to be that was his gig,
Right.
So
right.
I don't know. I don't even know if I got paid for it. I mean, might have got like $25 or something. It wasn't even about that. It was just about the opportunity.
Right.
So I feel like, looking back, like, I kind of was taking, his spot, you know what I mean? Like just for that one day. And it was just literally an hour dance. We used to have these noon dances. Like they would call them a noon dance. Like we get like an extended lunch and, so it'd be like an hour. But it was a big deal to me. It's like, wow, I get to DJ in front of like all my friends and the sound system, the coffin, like everything. And I remember practicing my set. And so come this day, the noon dance, I'm starting. I was maybe 3 or 4 records in, and him and his crew, they're like 7, 8 deep, whatever. Like they're all standing in the corner. They're all mad dogging me and like my squad. You know what I mean? I'm like, whatever. I just keep doing my thing. And then they all walk up to the DJ booth, and White Knight says to me, he's like, "Yo, let's battle right now."
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Straight called me out, and I'm like, man. I took the headphones. I was like, man. I don't want no part of that, homie. Like, you'll smoke me. Like, I know my place here. You know what I'm saying? And like, what could he say? You know what I mean? I just basically like, I punked out. Like, cause I knew like, I didn't want that. You know what I mean? I wasn't even skilled enough. I was nowhere near his level, And
so is there ever like a local battle, like, like a DJ store that you guys came across again and said,
no, it's
let's
funny
battle
though.
it out?
No. And then we ended up getting cool. Cause, as the years went by, he graduated. And then I graduated, and by the time I became a senior, I was doing a little more mobile DJ action. So I was doing house parties, local stuff, 18th birthdays.
Got your name around.
Birthdays. Gig. But when we both of our classes graduated, it was weird the way it happened. Like the classes all of a sudden, like whatever, like we're not in high school anymore. Like everybody kind of got cool. Right. Like we would see each other at some of the same like kegger parties or house parties, and I was DJing some of those parties, and so some of his squad would be at some of these parties, and I just remember it was kind of like this unspoken thing. As I started to improve a little bit and get more comfortable, get my confidence up, and start to flex kind of at these house parties that were the ones that stand out really, like it's just kind of like this unspoken thing where I could just sense kind of like, I was kind of earning my respect a little bit.
Right.
And so, White Knight, I think at one point, because he used to come over and practice, and then like he would start to invite me to his house, and then he would invite me to come out to clubs. Like I'd never DJed a club. He was DJing clubs already. And he was like, man, come check out this club in Long Beach. Come roll with me if you want to get on and DJ. So he kind of like took me under his wing, and he saw that I was improving a little bit and that I was serious. And we just got real cool. And like we're homies. Like that's my brother right there. Dope. Like,
what is he up to now?
He I'm not quite sure. He's still local. He's still in Cerritos. I ran into him recently, probably like within the last year. And he's always been into cars. He always had like fly cars back in the day, like sound system. And so I know he's still into that, like as a hobby. He's a serious hobbyist about that. And I know that he has a day job. I can't remember exactly what it is. And I don't think he DJs too much anymore. But like that's my man. I could hit him up.
Yeah, he used to
anytime.
run Sam Ash Cerritos.
Yeah.
He used to like
he
do all
worked there
the
for a
battles and host it, and he would have his nice car always parked in the front.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
Yeah, for sure. But that's my homie right there. But yeah, like I said, we got off to a rocky start, but just kind of like a rivalry that ended up turning into a friendship, like just out of respect and just love for the art form and for music and stuff. So, and then I met up with Curse and Rhetmatic after I graduated. Again, this is kind of like my first kind of year or two stepping out, going to these 18 and over clubs.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And they were the ones throwing them. And these were clubs out in L.A., out in Hollywood.
You said Curse and Rhett?
Curse and Rhett and DJ What, Paul the Man. They had this, so like a mobile DJ conglomerate. They used to call it United Kingdom. Yeah, so it was all the mobile squads that were doing it. Like so, Rhett's crew, DJ Curse's crew was Public Image, Paul the Man, and DJ What. Were they part of Public Image? And the lines kind of blurred a little bit. But anyways, they used to like all like bill as United Kingdom Presents.
Wow.
And it was like, they would just throw these dope nights, like it was just cracking like 800, 1,000 people. And so I was just, I didn't know any of those guys yet, but I was just, I was just a fan, and I was just a DJ nerd. And so I would just, me and my homies, like we would roll to their clubs, and the way their clubs were structured was there was a main room that was like the party room, and that was where like DJ What, Paul the Man, the Rock, and the mic. Grandmaster Kaz used to come through. He used to jump on the mic and flex. Nice. It was like crack. It was like a dope ass party. And then there was a side room where they would set up 4 turntables, and that's where like they'd be just like just off the cuff, like Curse would be rocking, and then the next minute J Rock's up there, and then Rhetmatic's back on, and then Curse and J Rock are doing stuff together. So I was just kind of like just a fly on the wall. But I was there every week, and I was probably like one of the first people there. And I would just walk straight through the main room, go straight back to that DJ pocket, and just like chill. And finally, man, I don't know, this went on for probably a couple months. One summer, and Curse came up to me early before the night started, and I'm there in the room, and I think they're still setting up. You know, they haven't even started DJing yet, or maybe they just did. And he came up to me. He's like, "Man," he's like, "you're here every week. You know, bring some records next time." I was like, "Okay, word."
That's dope. That is dope.
So you know, he knew me by face, and then so then that's kind of how I met those guys, and you know, we became cool and stuff, and exchanged info, and I started hanging out with Curse and J-Rock and Rhett, and we started doing gigs together, practicing together, record shopping, and then that
I
led
just talked to Curse the other day.
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna have him on the show.
Yeah.
Next month.
Definitely.
Yeah,
He's got stories for days, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we all connected. That's how the Beat Junkies was formed. And then it was J-Rock's idea. He was just like, man, he's like, we're always DJing together, like we're hanging out, you know what I mean? Like Melo's at my house, you know, we're at Curse's practicing, like let's form a DJ crew. Let's call it the Beat Junkies. And that was 1992. And yeah, so that's pretty much, and the rest is kind of history. But that's how we all came together, and that's how I formally kind of connected with the guys that I looked up to, that were my kind of mentors.
I think I saw a documentary about that. Like you guys had a ring, right? On the comic book store?
Yeah, because J-Rock used to work at a comic book store at the time. And then, so Green Lantern was the hot comic. And
Right.
I remember going to his comic book shop, but I mean, one of the things, they sold accessories, and so I guess they sold Green Lantern rings. And so that's why he just like, that was kind of our token
Hey,
of
man,
membership.
that thing worked. Look where they at now.
I still have my original
okay.
ring. Yeah. So yeah, we all used to wear them on like, you know, chains or whatever, and like we would step out as a crew, like when we were in the house, like yeah, we just always wear our rings.
So that's where it came in.
Yeah.
The logo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
I had a Beat Junkies poster. This was a long time ago, but it had that ring. I was like, dude, that's a great ring.
Yeah.
Are they gonna get sued?
Hopefully Marvel,
No, because the executioner guy. I mean, I don't know if that's true story, but I heard they had a change.
I heard something about that. Yeah. Well, you know, when they the reason they had, now that I think about it, the reason they had to do that was because when they got their record deal with Loud Records,
right,
that was on a major commercial record label, and they couldn't use the
X-Men.
Because that name was just owned.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't touch that, you know.
Yeah.
So they had to change it.
I think I have that record behind you.
Oh yeah.
Right there with Loud Records.
Yep, built from scratch.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that was the one right there.
that's the
Yeah,
one.
with the Public Enemy knockoff, the photo. Yeah, oh, that's dope.
So
album.
when I first heard of you was through radio.
Same.
I remember I ran into you at Starbucks and Cerritos, and I was telling you that I saw a video back, 94, 95, and I swear, I think that was you, maybe not. But either way, just, the young kid cutting it up. I think it was like a fresh friendship games or something like that, way back in the days.
Wow. Yeah.
This is before I was DJing. And then I always liked that style. And then another video a couple weeks later was the 93 DMC. Or no, not 93. It was the one where Rock Raider won that year.
95, I think.
So 95.
94 maybe 94.
94, 95,
Yeah.
Rock Raider won the world. And then years later, I got my turntables, so and forth. And then you were on the radio. That's when I was like, oh, cool, man. Like, damn, this guy killing it, mixing it, doing all the technical stuff. And then Turntable TV I saw. The one that you were cutting with D-Styles. And that's when my buddy was a hardcore scratcher. He's like, you got to watch this guy. And this guy's from the Beat Junkies, and this guy's local. How did you come across, hanging out with them? And, like, obviously you were turntable, but...
Oh, with the guys from the Bay? With
Yeah.
D Short Q?
was that something where you guys were battling beforehand?
No. I was doing a mobile gig one night, and Shortcut, I think, had just won a battle out here. So him and D were super tight. I mean, to this day, like they're homies. So D came down with them, and Short, part of his prize package for winning that battle that was held here in LA, was to do a guest slot on Friday Night Flavors.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I think D and Short came down here for like the weekend, and so Rhett was also in that same battle, and Rhett was up at the station, I believe, also for this guest set on Power 106. And so, Rhett and Short, started talking more, and they, kind of befriended each other. And so I think Rhett This was on a Saturday night. I'll never forget. This is I had a gig with my mobile crew, close by, not too far, and we were done. And I remember, I think this was like the pager days, but
Yeah.
but I think somebody paged me or called me or something. Somebody got a hold of me,
Right.
and was like, we used to always practice at Curse's house. Curse's was like the hub, like the crew hub. Like if there was a practice or any kind of like music DJ jam session, it was always in his garage.
Wow.
Right.
So like that was like the epicenter. So somebody calls me, Rhett or Curse, somebody's like, yo, like you got to get, like, what are you doing? I was like, man, I just finished my gig. What's happening? You got to come to my house right now. Like you got to check out this guy D Styles and Short. Like they're doing this scratch called the Flare Scratch.
Oh shit.
And so I'm like, yeah.
So hold on, before you move on, at this time there was no Flare Scratch. Like, I mean, you know, like
I don't think I had ever heard of it. I never heard of it. But I was hearing about DJs from the Bay. And obviously I knew who Qbert was.
Okay.
I knew who Mixmaster Mike was. I think I may have heard of D. May have heard his name. I knew who Shortcut was because of the battle. But I just, there was this kind of like this mystique, but about the Bay Area DJs, but you knew that they were doing something that was West Coast, but in terms of DJ style, but it was different from what we were doing in LA,
Right.
in Southern California. They were known for like having this really dope style, like in this different way of scratching for the most part. But they were doing the same things up there, mobile, DJ crews, like hall jams, stuff like that. They just had a different approach, like, you know what I mean? So anyhow, so Curse calls me and like, you got to come over right now. It's like, you got to check out this new scratch. I'm like, all right. So I roll over to Curse's and I meet D and say what's up to Short. And yeah, D was up there on the Gemini 2200 just doing a one-click and a two-click flare and just blowing everyone's minds. We were just like, the fuck? Like, because it's just like you're getting like this. Like, and then they stayed the weekend or whatever. And so we all got cool. That's how I met, D and Short. And, they just basically left our minds blown. And so like we were literally at Curse's every night for like weeks just trying to learn this, and then we would call D or call Short and put the phone down like, hey, is this right? Are we doing it right? And that's kind of what we used to do back in the day, and to learn like and just to play ideas and stuff for each other.
You got to pay for long distance back then.
yeah, for sure. But and then finally, like I forget who learned it first, but I think it took me like probably a good month, maybe 6 weeks to learn the one click, and I finally got that, and then the two click came a little while after that.
So what's the story with Havoc? I thought Havoc something about like he went up there, came back down, and showed.
That was later. He moved up there. I think his girlfriend at the time was from the Bay, and so he moved up there to kind of be with her and start a life with her. And then he lived up there for a number of years. I want to say like 5, 6, maybe 7 years. Yeah, we kind of, we would still keep in contact and stuff, and I think he would come down once in a while, but we wouldn't see or get to speak to him as often as we did back in the day. But yeah, Havoc's my man. Like, I definitely hung out with him a lot. Like, me and him used to go on record shopping trips, like, all the time. There was a Tower Records across the street from his crib. I used to go with him and his mobile crew to some of their gigs, and he used to come with me and my mobile crew in the early 90s.
Tower Records.
Yeah.
Because someone said that he came back and he showed you guys, or I don't want to say invented, but just like he was one of the first to learn.
Maybe he was. Like I said, I don't remember. Maybe he did learn it.
Or was
first.
it the orbit or something?
He might have learned the orbit. You know what? Yeah, I think he was the first to learn. Maybe it was the orbit.
Probably the orbit.
I think he was the first to learn the orbit,
which is a two-click up, two-click back.
Right. But
hearing these new scratches, like
it was really mind blowing. I mean, because up to then it was just basically transforming. Like that was the way of like that was your DJ's way of getting like just the maximum number of clicks and like really just flexing like hard on other DJs, But this was just something else, So, but yeah. Anyway, to answer your question, so I think D and I exchanged info, and like just after that night in Curse's garage, like. I would keep in contact with D, and so I used to just fly up there and just to go cut it up with him.
Oh, dope.
I would just go stay with him he was living with his folks at the time, and I would just kind of make weekend trips a couple times a year, a few times a year. Sometimes Babs would come with me, or a couple homies would roll up there, and Sometimes it would be just me. So that turntable TV, that was one of those weekends where
Oh,
I was just
dope.
up there, like just hanging out with D.
Right,
And he's
right.
like, man, let's go to Q's house, cut it up. I was like, yeah, let's go. Like,
Yeah, the legend,
and,
the legend right there.
I think that was my first time at Cubert's house. That was literally my first time at Cubert's.
There was a scratch in there that you did. I don't know what it's called, but it was it was on Super Ducks. I think you were cutting on, and then you did something where you did like a push back, or
I don't
it's
know.
not. It was
probably,
it's
probably something I don't even do anymore. Like,
when I find it, I'll send it to you. I'm still trying to figure that out to this day.
okay.
Yeah,
This is not something I'm proud of, but a lot of people don't know this. But so this video, this is years ago, and so yeah, we were a little wild, but man, we were on acid on this video. Me, Q, and D.
Yeah. No, that's the full. I think that video is the full. You're gonna have to find it somewhere there. But yeah, it's on YouTube. You could. I think someone. Yeah, but yeah, turntable TV
Tia
was
Carrera, is
like.
that Tia Carrera?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Forgot about her.
You gotta turn that up.
Yeah, but no, that's you gotta go keep going. That's the pickles.
Damn, Tia Carrera.
You're talking
though.
about I know. Yeah.
No, that's the executioners right
She
there.
ran game on the world for a while, right?
Keep going, keep going.
I was
All
a
the
fan.
way. Keep going. Keep going. I know this by heart.
Yeah,
I used to watch this every day, 5 times.
You're
think it's
talking about that session where it's just 3 of us at Cubert's house? Is that the?
I think it's just
I
you
think
and D.
that's the only time I've ever been on. Oh, Swift Rock, R.I.P.
Oh yeah, one of the greats, dude.
Yeah, me and him, we toured. Well, not toured, but we did. I think it was like we were there for a couple weekends, and we did probably like, I don't know, 8 or 10 shows out there together. Back in the day. And,
What did
Swift
you
Rock was dope,
put
man.
on turntable TV? Melody D Styles. That's the one that you probably. And I think it's like the second round, like on the Q&A. Once I find it, I'll show
It's
it to
all
you.
good. It's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So after the radio, you pretty much. I remember at that time for me was to hear your name around was you got involved with Scam Artists.
That's
right. And then that's when you
that came a little bit later, but yeah, Scam Artist. That was probably 2013.
That was one of my dreams.
To be on, yeah,
To be on
Scam was
Scam.
large. Yeah, for sure. But after the radio, so I did Hot 92. Julio and I did the Aqua Boogie show.
right.
We did that probably until 2003, and then I forget exactly what happened there, but we stopped doing that show, and then a year later, 2004, late into 2004, 93.5 K-Day launched, and they reached out to Julio to be a part of that. So we did 93.5 K-Day. They're still on the air here in LA, right? They
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Yep.
We did that until 2007, and at K-Day, one of the sales executives was a girl. She's a dear friend of mine. Her name's Daniela, but she was close with DJ AM.
Right.
Like, I mean, brother sister close.
Yeah,
Like
Wow.
they're like
Peace,
best
man.
friends. Yeah, AM. And so she used to talk to him all the time, and they would hang out all the time. And I knew who he was. I'd actually met him a couple times briefly, kind of when he was coming up in the early 2000s. And me and J-Rock did a party one night where it was a private party from Maxim Magazine, and we did kind of like the early part of the night, and then when it turned into like the after party, like the regular club hours,
Yeah,
9,
prime
10
time.
to whatever,
Yeah,
prime
yeah.
time,
Prime
like he was the man. Like that was his residency, and that was at, oh man, it's on Hollywood. It's not around anymore. I forgot the name of the spot.
Cinespace.
No, it's on La Brea. What was it called? The LA clubs, they change names every
Yeah,
4
yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Like it's like changing underwear, but whatever. So, but that was the first time, and I had heard about AM, and I never got a chance to see him DJ, and so I went and just railbirded like the whole time during a set, and I got to see him get down, and he was incredible, man. Like he was just
That was his height, the peak, right?
Oh yeah,
At that
for
time.
sure.
Yeah.
But he was just beating that club up, like
It's
just
crazy,
playing all the
yeah.
right music, like everything though, like rock, hip hop.
Yeah, see,
know,
that was the
funk,
cool
like
thing about AM. He opened
novelty
a lot of
record.
genres.
Oh yeah,
Opened
novelty
a lot of
records, like
genres.
just like and just being real clever and creative,
Yeah.
like acapella over mashups like that he
Yeah,
was known
yeah.
for. So anyhow, when I was working at K-Day, my friend Daniela, our mutual friend, AM was like, "Oh, Melo's at your station." He's like, "Tell him I said what up." And So I never knew, but AM, like, he was tuned in the whole time I was on the beat.
Oh,
Like, he used
word.
to listen to, like, all my shows, and me and Julio. And so finally Daniela reintroduced us. Yeah, we got to talking, and we got cool. And my wife, who was my then girlfriend, she was finishing up residency out in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And so this is like 2005, and AM had just landed his first Vegas residency at the Hard Rock.
Wow.
So him and I were, we became kind of we became friends, and we used to keep in touch and stuff. And so I would tell him, like, oh, I'm coming out this weekend. I would go visit my girl like every week,
Right.
every weekend. And he used to always tell me, like, you got to come check out this club. Like, this club is just, it's off the hook. It's jamming. Like, it's like nothing you've ever seen. Like, come through. And so, like, this went on for probably a good month. And then finally, the fifth or sixth time, I was like, all right, man, I'm coming through. Like, my girl's working Saturday night. She's working the graveyard shift. I'm coming through. He's like, dope. Bring some records. I'm like, all right, I'll bring a crate, like, whatever.
Word.
So this is 2005.
Oh shit.
And so, but now
would drop,
he was,
dude.
yeah. So I was like, all right. So I put a little crate together and I had no big room club. I'd done clubs and gigs and parties and some stuff like overseas and other parts of the country. But this was a mega club. This was Body English at the Hard Rock, the first mega club ever in Vegas. There was
Right.
bars and things that had a DJ, but this was like a club. I don't know if you
This
guys
is
ever
it.
made it to the spot back in the day, but now in 2019, you go to any of these clubs in the major hotels on the strip, like they're just very elaborate. Like,
Yeah,
When they
Hard Rock
did that,
was-
they based it on AM.
Yeah,
When
Hard
they
Rock
did
was
that.
one of the first ones, right?
oh, that was the first one.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Tao came shortly after that. So, and he landed that gig because he was killing it that tough, just out here and just as DJ AM,
Damn.
like he was on that level making that kind of noise. So they brought him in. So sure enough, I bring my Creator Records and I show up to the club and we have dinner before and stuff and we're talking music and we're hanging out and I meet the resident DJ. Shout out to the homie Dig Dug. And so we walk up to this club and I'm just like instantly like just wow, just blown away. Like, this is bananas. Like, they had like the Cairo, like, people screaming, like
Right.
reacting to records. It was just this energy like that I just never experienced. And I just remember like, man, I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Like, it's
Wow.
crazy. But
I'm
yeah,
covered
just-
in goosebumps right now.
oh man. And
Be with
he,
AM.
so now, and they had this really dope DJ booth that was, it was nice and spacious and there was room for like, a dozen people. So it was the DJ, it was this setup, the Rain, what is this? The 56,
yeah.
two 1200s. And then where you're sitting, Certs, was the sound and lighting guy.
Right.
So he was, it's like a
Right,
Oh,
two-man.
so they were going back
And you're
forth.
overlooking the whole club. Like, you're up top, and then there's like, there's people partying right here. There's people partying behind you. There's the bar right here. There's the main dance floor is right below you, but they can see you, and there's just 100% absolute, just amazing connection with you and the audience.
The
And,
energy was there.
oh man, it was so lit. And so he's on Serato, and
Oh, shit.
last time I had seen him DJ, he was playing records.
Yeah.
I had Serato, and I was, I was one of the reluctant ones. I just never wanted to. It's like computer, like,
Switch,
I was
yeah.
I was sleeping. Like, I slept on Serato for probably a good year.
Right.
And so this
a
night,
lot of DJs actually did.
Yeah.
When it barely came out.
yeah,
I didn't want to touch it.
I mean, it was still kind of buggy, but it was there. Like, you could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time I've ever heard a DJ on Serato, and he absolutely destroyed it.
Oh yeah.
Leveled.
I bet.
I mean, just bodied the
He
whole.
was the first one I saw use cue points.
Yeah.
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 You
So
know?
I knew about Serato, but I didn't have that much of an understanding to understand I knew he was doing something with the cue points, and I had heard about the cue points, but yeah, so he was doing all that, and just a lot of the mixes, not a lot, but like a decent amount of the mixes I had seen him do in other sets, but now he was just accessing the music instantly. So much faster. I mean, just flashing through songs, and just like there were definitely points in the set where I remember feeling like, damn, this sounds like a 4-track right now, like what he's doing, like, and it was just so clean, and he's just scratching, and he was just beating it up, man. He just had it down
Shit.
so cold, and like, yeah, the audience he just had him like in the palm of
Oh
his hand.
man, I bet.
And so I witnessed like an hour of this, and I'm standing behind him, I'm just sweating, I'm just like just taking it all in, and he like at some point he like, takes the headphones off, he's like, all right, homie, you ready? You're up. I was like,
shit.
oh, wow. Like, so here I go with my Creator Records,
It's a hard
right?
act to
Fred
follow.
Flintstone.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it was just so brutal. But it was cool. I got through it. I played maybe like a 30, 35, and 40-minute set, something like that. And so it was cool. And then he got back on. And but yeah, just like that, I'll never forget that night. That was just an incredible night. Like a career-changing night for me in so many ways.
And you done that. So at that point, you were doing Vegas for another 10 years or so?
No. So at that point, I was his guest that night. And
Right.
again, I'm out there just visiting my lady, you know what I mean? And, then I go back home for the weekend or whatever. But that was the trip. That was the set that got me to finally like go out, get a laptop, install this
Serato.
Serato.
Serato
Install the
software
program.
and try and just get it figured out. And so anyhow, the whole Vegas scene, within a short time frame, a year or less, all these other hotels and properties pick up on like, wow, we're missing out on, we're leaving money on the table. We need to
Yeah.
open up a club.
Yep.
So Tao opens up. There was a club at, I think it was called Tangerine or something, further down the strip at Treasure Island, opens up. Not as lavish as Body English. Tao was definitely up there. Definitely like met
That's
the bar.
at Venetian.
Venetian.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
there, I believe.
Yep.
But
Tao
basically, it
Beach.
was Body English and Tao. Those were like the spots, like in town. And then there was a new club that was opening up at Pure. And Vice was actually, he was a resident at Body English at the time also. So I think Vice had Fridays, AM did Saturdays. So they were, because they were already doing together, they were doing the whole Hollywood scene out
Right.
here,
Yep.
working with the same promoter who was throwing these nights out in Vegas. So the promoter brings both of them in. Great DJs.
Wait, what year was this?
This is 2005. This is 2005.
Okay.
And so by 2006, there's a new club opening up at Caesar's Palace called Pure.
Yes.
remember
And
that.
they make AM, basically AM gets this $1 million deal.
That's the
to
one that,
become the
freaking-
resident.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was huge news, like in the DJ community.
It was.
It's just, yeah.
$1
it was
million.
done. Yeah, $1 million.
I was making
for-
$75
yeah.
a whole night, right?
We were
here.
all making $75. So, and again, like him and I kind of like, built a relationship and just like, hanging out a little bit, talking and stuff. And he gets this deal. And so he basically, I don't know what his terms were at Body English or what kind of money he was getting. But he basically got an offer he couldn't walk away from. So he leaves Body English to go on good terms to go take this deal over at Pure Nightclub at Caesar's Palace. And now they're looking for somebody to take his place. So this dude, I never saw the email, but I heard, and this is confirmed, but he puts together this really nice email on my behalf. Takes the time out of his crazy banana DJ schedule, his celebrity. He's with Nicole Richie at the time. Like, he's large. He's killing it.
And A-list right there.
So yeah, he just takes the time and just puts this email together, sends it to the executives or the powers that be at Body English.
Right.
They call me or my manager, our friend, mutual friend Daniela. I ended up working with her.
Right.
And they get in contact with her and they bring me in 3 Saturday nights in a row for like kind of like a free audition. So the first time was, I think I played maybe an hour. AM's deal was he was a 3-hour set. He was 12 to 3. And then Dig Dug was the resident DJ, so he would kind of open up and close around AM. So the first time, okay, bring him back, So I go and I do an hour. They call me back for the following Saturday. Not a paid gig. Now they want me to do an hour and a half. Go back, I do that. Now they want me to do the full 3 hours, like the following Saturday. Like, let's see if you can really like do this. And so I practiced really
wifey
hard.
still in Vegas?
No, she ended up finishing, and so we got married in 2007, and so we were living here in Cerritos.
Right.
So this is 2006, early 2006, like February 2006, when I'm auditioning to hopefully get this gig.
Yeah.
So I put in that third night, and they want me for the full 3 hours, 12 to 3, and I ran out of steam, probably like 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I just remember feeling like, damn, man, like I thought I had enough music. And I programmed a 3-hour set, but I ended up probably skipping some things. And again, I'm new to this scene, so I don't want to I was trying to be cautious. I didn't want to take any chances. I didn't want to do anything that could jeopardize literally one song I might just lose this gig, this opportunity.
Yeah.
So I remember turning to Dig Dug, the resident. I'm like, man, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I'm tapped out, man. I was just like, I think I'm done with my set, He's like, oh, no problem. Don't even worry about it. He's like, you did great. So he jumped on. He took the rest of the night. And I remember walking out of there feeling like, damn, I think I blew it, man. I think I don't think I landed it. But they ended up calling that following Monday, and they offered me the Saturday night. That was my first Vegas contract, and that was all through AM rest in peace. Just
Yeah,
kind of
Wow.
man.
threw me that bone. And I mean,
Rest
not
in
just me, but
peace.
he opened up the doors for just so many DJs. I mean, he was such an unselfish, giving person. Just looked out for a ton of people. Not just in the DJ community, but he was very active with AA, took his sobriety very seriously,
Right.
and he was very giving to that community as well. Did so much for so many people that needed help, and he was just a good dude, man. And it's too bad what happened to him. Rest in peace. But,
Yeah,
but yeah, that was my first Vegas residency, and I did the Hard Rock from 2006 to 2010, and my time kind of ran its course there. And then I had moved out to Vegas in early 2009, because my one night, as the nightlife industry grew in Vegas, just up and down the strip, the Hard Rock started to grow also. So my one night went from my Saturday night DJ residency at the club
Right.
to Saturday night at the club, Sunday at the rehab pool party, and then it went from that to Saturday night at the club, Sunday at the pool, Sunday night at the club. And then they opened up a rock bar. So it went from one night to DJing 5 nights a week out there. So my
Wow.
schedule was Thursday through Sunday. It's like I would DJ Thursday night, Friday, twice on Saturday, and occasionally twice on Sunday.
That's a dream right there.
Yeah. So it was going pretty
man.
well.
That's a
So,
dream.
so I did that for a few years at the Hard Rock. So that's why my wife and I, we got married. We bought a house out there in Vegas because it was just, I was spending a lot of money just traveling. The hotel, they were putting me up in the hotel, but you get cabin fever after a while.
Right.
Okay.
And I would bring, I had a practice set up. I think I had a mixer and one turntable that lived at the hotel. I would just literally leave it at the bell desk. And when I would come in to check in for my weekend, I would have them bring it up. I would set it up just so I could practice.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I would rent a car. I'm spending money on food. I'm treating myself to like nice dinners and sushi.
As
and
you should. As you
DJ
should.
yeah,
DJ
like
5 days a week.
$60 dinners, and like homies are in town, like spending money and stuff. So
yeah.
it just made more sense to unfortunately I had the money saved up. My wife and I had money saved up, so we were able to buy a new house out there.
Right.
And so I moved out there, and then it was just kind of poor timing. I kind of moved out there on the premise that I was guaranteed basically another year with the Hard Rock. I was guaranteed 2010. And they ended up deciding to go another direction. I had already locked us into this house. We were about to have our first
Wow.
kid, and they dumped this all on me. They let me finish out the year, but they tell me this literally like a month before, maybe 3 weeks before my son's born.
What?
Like, damn. All right.
Wow.
And it's all. I mean, it's just business. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was pretty like, I was a little sour at the time just because like I feel like they kind of like fed me the rope and I moved out there and just like, damn, like that's got kind of screwed there. But
Yeah.
but try to make the most of a
So
seemingly
are
poor
you
situation.
a member of Scam Artist at that time?
No,
Not
I'm
yet.
still up working with my
You're-
friend Daniela.
Okay.
So I'm just she's kind of my agent and manager.
Right,
She's
right.
negotiating all my stuff with
Okay.
the Hard Rock and all my other one-offs that I'm doing up and down or across the country.
Right,
all these
right.
other clubs and stuff. So that ended, and then I ended up getting another residency. It's called One Oak now,
All right.
which is at the Mirage, but back then it was called Jet Nightclub. And so the crew over there, they gave me a deal for a year. I did that in 2010, and then that was Friday nights, every Friday, and that was fun. That was cool. But that was a different set. The deal there was I played all night. The way this nightlife group worked, any headliner did his whole entire night.
And
so
how
that was
long
a
is that?
6-hour set.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a lot of work. But it was healthy in a way. It just, it really kind of pushes you to work harder and just like really comb through your library and think of, you're a resident DJ too. So 6 hours is a long time to play. And so you're going to repeat certain songs, obviously
Of
the
course.
hits and stuff. Like
Of
there's
course.
going to be those parts in your set where,
Right.
you're not getting away from certain records or, these certain mixes, this
Yeah,
4 or
yeah,
5
yeah.
song block, But around that, like the challenge was trying to make yourself sound a little different, but still play records and music that was effective for your audience, But I did that for a year.
The endurance too.
So when you
6
were
hours.
in
Yeah.
Vegas, was there any conflict, or were you still active, or was there still stuff going on with the Beat Junkies at that time too, like where you had to do some shows with them, fly in, and
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting time for the crew because apart from myself, doing Vegas, there was definitely a good maybe like almost a decade 7, 8 years, maybe a little longer, where we all kind of we're all still kept in contact and good
Right.
friends, but everyone kind of went their own lane for a while. So I was in Vegas. Babu was having huge success with his group Dilated Peoples.
Yep.
Rhett Maddock was with the Visionaries. Same thing, traveling, doing shows, festivals, etc. J-Rock has always been and still doing just J-Rock. You know what I mean? Like probably the best DJ in the world, just getting booked left and right and side projects. And so he was doing his thing. D-Styles, he had started another project with a few other DJs, started making scratch music, and, still always pressing up product and break records and stuff like that. So he was doing his thing. So for the rest of the crew too, everyone was kind of like Icy Ice was doing his own thing. And so we didn't really do too much stuff together. Maybe every now and again, like a couple of us would do a night, something like that. But yeah, there was definitely during this time, like everyone was kind of doing their own thing. But again, like there was never any love lost.
Yeah,
like we're all still good friends and
That's
stuff
dope.
like that.
Love
That's
never
dope.
changed.
No doubt. And so yeah, and then
So pretty much when someone had their birthday, they'd be like, "Let's go to Vegas."
yeah. Well, the guys were the Vegas is not really their scene. Red actually came out and DJ with me a couple times early on when I got my residency. He came out and he came out. Curse came out a couple times with me.
So
and
like when
he's
you're
fun.
when you're a resident DJ, like you pretty much have the power, just like, hey, bring your laptop.
Yeah, and for the club scene, for
Yeah,
Vegas
yeah.
stuff, yeah. You bring your laptop and it's just like the room is yours.
Wow.
You know, you just have to deliver.
And that was a goal for me too. I mean, I've DJ Tao Beach, but as far as anything else in Vegas, that's it. I've always wanted to, do a big room.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing, kind of going back to what I was saying about the radio, like that, the Vegas nightlife landscape has changed a lot. And so again, looking back, I was very fortunate to just get blessed with that spot early in the game, early, like literally like, 3 or 4 clubs on the block, like, and it was just like, these clubs they were throwing money at DJs, which made clubs across the country throw money at DJs,
Right.
Paying these outrageous, rates and stuff, for a set. So I was very fortunate to be just a part of that time and just be a part of that the circuit at that time, and it's changed a lot. But it's still fun. I've actually, I'll get into that in a second, but I've kind of stopped doing that scene, the mega club scene, like the top 40 rooms, at least. So I did Jet, and then I did 2 years at the Palms with shout out to Dave Fogg, longtime industry leader and just tastemaker for Vegas nightlife out there. He brought me and Reflex, E-Man, DJ Sprite, and Kevin Scott. We were the residents there for 2 years. They had a couple rooms and the Palms pool and stuff like that. And then when that ended, that's when I joined with Scam Artists in 2013. And so Sujit, who's the president, the founder
of Scam.
he basically at that point, he had the game pretty sewed up. Like he had relationships with not only Vegas, but all these other bottle service nightclubs across the country, east to west coast.
Wow.
And so he put me in all the different rooms, just trying to find me a home. So he put me in Tao. I played Tao a couple times, and I had played Tao before. He put me in the Bank, which was at the Bellagio.
Right.
Probably a good like half dozen, maybe 10 different clubs. And then I ended up landing a residency with Hakkasan Group. So I started playing for Hakkasan, and they opened up Omnia. I forget what year that was, 2014 or 15 maybe. So I was their resident.
At Omnia?
And so, and Hakkasan. So, so I did that from 2013 till end of last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I recently.
So recent.
Yeah, I recently left Scam Artists. I left last year, and it's again no bad blood. Me and Suj and the DJs that I know that are still on board, totally cool. But it was kind of a decision that I've been personally struggling with for a while, because now keep in mind, I've been doing that circuit for a decade plus,
Right.
long time, and a lot of fun, a lot of just incredible, high energy, memorable nights, and I'm thankful and grateful for that. But it came to a point for me where, when you play those rooms, you know what it is. You played Tao Beach. It's there's room for a little taste making, and 4 for them, 1 for me. You can get away with that. But other than that, I mean, the majority of your night, it's very top 40, very commercial, which was fine for me. But I just kind of outgrew the music and that sound. Right. And as a DJ, I was losing interest in DJing in one lane for 2 hours. Like I just, and then with the new hip hop and the sound and stuff, like it's cool, but it's not really my thing. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it, but it basically got to a point where it's like, okay, so like my deal with Hakkasan, I think the first year was, I think it was like 16 dates over the course of a year.
Right.
And then the next year it went up to 20 something dates. And then the year after that, maybe it stayed the same, or maybe they added a date or two. But my schedule was so sporadic. There would be months where I'd have 3 dates. I'd be at Hakkasan twice, and then I'd be at Omnia at the end of the month. And then maybe I wouldn't be back there for another 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then I'd take on 2 dates or maybe 3 dates.
Yeah.
So while this is happening to me in terms of my personal interest in music, so I'm having this kind of dichotomy with music where it's like not necessarily into this stuff, but at the same time, this is my job.
Yeah.
So I'd have these periods where weeks, sometimes a month would go by, and all right, I wouldn't touch the music because I'm not doing a gig like that, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, well, I got a gig coming up in Vegas next week. So I just started to kind of dread it, man. Like I just remember feeling like I was behind, like, damn, like I know there's probably some new stuff out. So here I go. I got to jump on,
the record
tap my nieces, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like what's the new stuff? I wasn't listening to the radio, but yeah, jump on the record pools, check a couple of charts, check Power 106,
see what's
talk to some other DJs. Hey, what are you guys playing? You know what I mean? And all this work, like for literally like 6 or 7 titles, you know what I mean? That were like, I probably could have been fine without them, but like, you know how it is as a DJ, like you always want to have like the new stuff, like you want to come correct, like you want to deliver for your audience. So it just started to feel like work to me. And then just being in the club, like it just like, I don't know. I just, it came to a point where I just wasn't looking for, and I'm playing at like the Big Dog. I mean, Omnia's sick nightclub, sick,
real big,
super dope. It's actually the old Pure at Caesar's Palace, and they just renovated it. Right. They expanded the space, super dope. Killer production. I mean, just, everything. Great sound system. Good team over there. Took great care of me. Really? Awesome DJ booth. But it came to a point I just wasn't into it anymore. I wasn't into it. And so I explained this.
That happens, man. That's life.
Yeah, I explained this to Sujit. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, look, you know what I mean? I'm at a place in my career now, like as a DJ, as a curator, like I'm just really I don't have an interest in doing these gigs anymore. And he totally understood, you know what I mean? I was just like, this is your entire network. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for everything that you've done for me. You know what I mean? But, it doesn't make sense for me to be on your roster. I'm taking up a spot for somebody else. You know what I mean? And I'm not even really trying to do these kind of gigs.
Right.
So we peacefully parted ways. It's all good. He's still my man. I saw him not long afterwards in Vegas and doing a new residency that me and the Beat Junkies got. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so that was kind of my Vegas history and my relationship with Scam Artist. So yeah, it was definitely. And I'm trust me, I'm super duper thankful, like to the grave, like for all that, for just the opportunity, for just lasting that long in an industry like that, with where the DJ pool, the working DJ pool now is so saturated. It's as you know, it's difficult to get yourself on a billboard or get that headlining spot at Tao Beach or you know what I mean, the new spot like XS or whatever the Pop and Club marquee.
So when you were at Scam Artist, did you move back down here, or you're still living up there?
I'm still living in Vegas, and my family and I moved back here 4 years ago, 2015. We had 3 kids. My wife and I had 3 kids, and our oldest was starting kindergarten.
Okay.
And we had them in a great school out there in Las Vegas. And but ultimately for us, the decision was because we just, we missed the comforts of home. All of our family. We both grew up out here. My wife grew up in La Mirada, not too far from Cerritos. And so her family's there. My family's here. All of our childhood homies and dear friends are here.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on stuff with the crew. Like there was definitely, they started doing clubs, like the fellas started doing gigs and stuff. And I would make it down when I could. But I just remember feeling like, damn, I'm like missing out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm so far. I'm not far away, but it's just like, I'm far enough away. Like you know what I mean? To where I can't make it to everything. Drive. And, but yeah, so just that was ultimately like kind of what made us decide to move back home, and I think it was the right decision for us.
So while you were there though at Vegas, you're a poker player as well, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been wanting to bring that up.
So did you? Is that something where? I mean, how serious were you at that? I know I heard some interviews and stories about that stuff.
Yeah. No, I've poker's been a passion of mine for years, since the late '90s, and it's just it's kind of like my golf. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys golf and they take it very seriously. They're serious hobbyists and they're always working on their game. They're studying. You know what I mean? And they're just trying to improve.
Yep.
And that's the way I approach poker. But I definitely played a lot. Like I played a ton of poker in Vegas, probably those during that phase at the Hard Rock, where I was out there for 5 days. You know, I was out there by myself. We didn't have any kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is like during the poker boom too. Like for people that aren't familiar with poker,
You can even look them up.
that was kind of a great. That was kind of like the height of the poker industry.
Yeah.
Because money was flowing. This is
That show was on ESPN.
pre-recession, the World Series of Poker.
You were on ESPN?
No, I was never on ESPN. But this is kind of like, they call it the poker boom in the poker
right.
community. But yeah, I played probably 3-4 nights a week back in the day.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, my regular game was a 2-5 game. But sometimes I would play a little bigger. And then I used to play out here a lot at the Commerce around that same time.
Right. You joined any tournaments?
I played a few. Yeah. But I was always more of a cash game player.
You would host, right, on your pad?
Yeah, I did a couple.
Because I think we have some mutual friends that that play with you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Patams.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ferdy, yeah. Shout out to the Patams. Yeah, that was recent. That was maybe a couple years ago. That was just a one-off. But yeah, we used to have home games. One of my homies used to spread a regular Friday night home game for years. We just played Texas Hold'em all night long, till the sun came up.
So, any big cash prizes on your end?
Plus and minus, wins and losses. But yeah, I think my best cash for a tournament, the Bellagio used to do it was $1,000 daily tournament, and they would get like 50 to 70, which is like basically like 6 or 7 tables.
Yeah,
they would get that many entries. And so I played a few of those, and that was my biggest cash. I think it was me and 2 other people. We ended up splitting it. So we basically got down to 3-handed, with the last 3. We all had about the same amount of chips, and it was for I think the 3 of us, we were around the same age. It was kind of like, this is like, we're playing for some money. So I think like first place was like, I don't know, 30 something K.
No way.
Second place was like 20 something K, and then third place was like 15 or 16.
It was like 1,000 to play though, right?
It was $1,000 buy-in.
Right.
Yeah. And so obviously everyone wants to win,
of course,
first prize, but at the same time, it's like, so we ended up making a deal where we basically combined first, second, and third place money, and we worked out a split that was fair based on the chip stacks. So I think I cashed out like 18 and something. And then like the one guy, he got like, the guy that had more chips, he ended up getting like 22, but he got screwed because he was from Canada, and Canada took like 30% taxes. So he got knocked off like
that
$7,000.
Fucked up shit.
He lost $7,000 in taxes, but he got first place, and then the other guy got around the same amount as me. But that was my biggest cash in a tournament. And then cash games.
And you're still playing, too.
Yeah, not as much as I used to, but I once in a while, there's a show out here, or the Bicycle Casino, which is local. They have a live stream cash game that I played on a few times.
Oh.
Right.
So I play there some. Actually, if I do play out here, that's where I play.
Was there something like you were hosting or something, or you got asked to host a show?
Oh yeah, so that stream, they it's like any other live stream, like for a sport, like they have commentators. So like I was invited a couple times to do commentary and just comment on the game as it's playing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, live on the air, and they live stream it on YouTube. And it's it's a pretty much like, it's kind of like a home game because it's a very small community. Their player pool is probably 80 to 100 regular faces, and then occasionally a guy will fly in from the East Coast for whatever, and he'll like, hey, can I play on the show? So they'll try and mix it up and get some fresh faces
crazy
on there. But it's a cool little community that they have. It's a lot of recreational players, a few pros meaning that's what they do for a living.
Right.
That they earn their income by playing
Dana White
poker.
just got kicked out, right? Or not kicked out, but banned.
Really? Oh, I didn't.
From playing.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
Dana White?
Dana White. I think, if he plays, it's going to be in the millions,
Yeah.
So, if you look it up, like, it's crazy.
So, yeah. But I did, to answer your question, I used to play a lot in Vegas. That was probably when I was playing the most. But now it's just different. I can't. Just, way less responsibility back then. I was out in Vegas all the time. And, but yeah, now, like, just when I can, once in a while, it's just different. family and other priorities. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And to tie this in, I got something to show you. So because you're a gambler, play poker.
Oh yeah.
All right, you gotta tell us a little bit of story about these. All right, so gambling Pete's.
Yeah.
So tell us about this. I don't know if I'm missing any, but I got all three. Is that three or you got more?
Okay, there was one more.
There's
what was
more?
the Sin City Breaks?
Oh yes.
That was the third one.
I don't have that one.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I might have a copy for you.
Yeah.
In the house somewhere.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, tell me about is it because you like poker? Is that one? Is that why it's called? Or who is Gambling Pete?
Gambling Pete's he's the homie. He doesn't show his face too often, but yeah, he's kind of like my degenerate, like my friend in the degenerate world, and he kind of inspired all these records that you're holding in front of you. Yeah, but I mean, I just looking back, like when I turned 18, I guess I've always kind of been into gambling. Like I played blackjack, studied that, so I studied blackjack, read a bunch of books, and so that's kind of what inspired that record that came out like in the late 90s, maybe like 97.
Yeah.
And then I got into poker probably like 99, 2000, around there. And so, but prior to that, like when I would go to Vegas or like we would go to like me and my friends would go to like Morongo or Pachanka or once in a while out here and just go F around out there. So I used to play blackjack and stuff. So yeah, and then the other, so that's what it's kind of inspired, like that record right there and the homie.
That's my game right there.
So any cool
blackjack?
Yeah,
that's your game.
That's my game,
it's such
right
a dangerous
there.
game, man.
Yeah,
I quit. I haven't played a hand of blackjack in easily 20 years.
Yeah, you definitely got to make an app.
Or about 20 years.
With all these records.
Oh, an app. Yeah.
You know how they have those loopers?
Right.
Yeah, dude. So so you went from that to this,
and
I'm missing
one.
Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that's just a continuation of the series, and just obviously everything's just inspired by gambling and the gambling world. So, but at the same time, I'm trying to have fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's little like excerpts about like gambling, and like I would take snippets from movies and dialogue and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a DJ tool. These are scratch records with like beats and scratch sentences and sounds for DJs, turntablists.
Wait, so you said that the first one with Gambling Pete, that's an actual person?
Cannot confirm or deny.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And then I'm missing what? Sin City?
Sin City was the third one, yeah.
Sin City, you made that because you were at that?
No, I just trying to think of like different themes that are all just underneath the umbrella of gambling and the gambling world. So Lone Shark Juice Breaks was kind of like, I think I put some stuff on the back of this one too, where it's like, that was the next one. Yeah, I'm just kind of poking fun at what can happen. Like if you get too caught up in gambling, like you lose all your money, obviously, or you can like end up doing like shady deals with guys like this. You know what I mean? And they're charging you 25% juice, so you're out dealing with loan sharks, and you know what I mean? Yeah, dedicated to all the degenerate DJs. Yeah. So again, just trying to have fun with it. But
no, it was, man.
But I definitely had my fair share of perils gambling over the years for sure. Like like I said, wins and losses, and I mean heavy plus and minus, like on both sides. Like it gets heavy. Like sometimes it's like.
But you know what's crazy?
That's
about
the game,
these?
man.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
You know what I love about these records, especially like even from everyone's Babs, D Styles, it has a personality. So as a battle DJ, we would know, like not just the fact it's a like a Beat Junkies thing. It's those beats, those background breaks. The scratch sentences were like we knew who it came from.
Word.
Bab has a distinctive sound. You had
both
one.
of those guys, yeah, for sure.
D Styles does. And then obviously Dirt Style Records is a whole different another story with that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of personality on these records.
Word.
That's,
thank you.
That's true table list right there. You know it.
You know
those are a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making those back in the day.
You did a lot, man. I remember I came across this too. Do you remember this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a project I did for Scion, Toyota
Scion.
Yeah.
A lot of dope. See, stuff like this back then. If you didn't listen to the radio, this would help like the underground music,
right,
like stuff
indie,
that again goes back
indie hip hop. That was
wow. Okay, I remember that. That's when the TC barely came out, right?
Yeah, this is when they were promoting heavy with all the Scion's product.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Scion was still like a kind of a new car on the. There was probably other. It says volume 8, so I assume there was some other samplers that they.
Yeah,
but
they had other DJs.
Yeah, I mixed that one.
Yeah, so,
and then you did a lot, Mello.
Yeah,
there's more, dude.
I bet.
This is
mix CDs and just projects. But like again, this is at a time like this is pre-internet, pre-Serato, so like that was this was kind of like supplemental income for me as well. Like this was product. Like I used to press up like the first one. I think who kind of coached me and was really helped me out a lot was Yoga Frog.
Okay.
He's actually the one that convinced me. Like he kind of told me about the break record market space, and was just like, because they had already done a couple.
Oh yeah.
I think D Styles had just done one, his first one, and so and again I'm pretty close with Q and that squad at the time because I'm flying up to hang out with them and scratch with them and stuff. So I remember talking to Yoga Frog and telling him I wanted to do one. I was just like, but I don't know, what do I do with it like once it's done. So he was shout out to Yoga Frog, man. He was kind enough to like connect me with like basically all his connections. He's like, okay, here's talk to this person at this company, this person at that company. This person will buy 1,000 out the gate COD. She's close by. She was this girl in Cyprus named Valerie. Wow. And so I think the first one I pressed up 5,000 records, and I think within less than a month they were all gone. I sold them all. Yeah. But this is again like the break record, there weren't too many on the shelves. Like, so again, I'm again fortunate to be early in the game. So yeah, like
it's hard now, man. This is the latest one I bought right here.
Oh yeah, this one's sick. Chris Carnes, right?
Yeah.
This one's like it's like a $50 record or something crazy,
something
right?
Like that,
it's expensive, like $40, so it's dope though. Yeah,
it's dope. I mean, it helps. It helps with a visual as far as like beginners. But yeah, man,
no,
like a
great
lot
tools.
A lot of your projects, even the Beat Junkies stuff that you guys did together, has always been a classic. All those Beat Junkies Volume 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, the mix series.
I guess working on any. I mean, is there any talks of making more?
No, no, not really. That kind of music nowadays is more promotional, and our focus is pretty much our entities, which are we have our record pool, beatjunkies.com. We have our DJ school that we're all instructors at.
Oh yeah.
And then we have Beat Junkies TV, which is our online DJ school. So we're always in front of the cameras, like content creating and coming up with curriculum and stuff. And then other than that, like live DJing, kind of selectively.
That's dope.
And when there's a time for it. But yeah, so between all those things and just us being older, having families, a lot of us have families and kids and stuff like that. Just like that's between those things, like 24 hours goes by like nothing, like. So, but I mean, never say never,
right, exactly.
Like, yeah. But these days, if we're recording something, it's for one of our affiliates, one of our sponsors, or a side project. But yeah, I know the guys Babs put out a 7-inch scratch record.
He did.
D's put out several.
The portal for the
40 portables, yeah, for the 45s. What else? The looper. We did a looper. Done 2 of those.
Those
Babs
are dope.
released the looper. But me personally, like I just the way my life is now, like I wish I had more time to produce and to make product. But I just again, my energies just get
right. So let me ask you
elsewhere.
this. I mean, now you've been in the game for quite some time. You pretty much experienced more than enough than the average DJ. Truly blessed.
Way more.
Truly. Yeah, no, definitely.
You went through everything, man.
And you're still young, man.
But not as long as I
Still
used to
young,
be.
man.
But
So, I think my guy's saying we got a little bit more time left. But yeah, so before we end it, what is like your daily routine? How do you keep yourself motivated at this time? I mean,
that's something I want to know
you
too.
definitely got family, but most importantly, you're still focused in, locked in to get shit done. And for the young ones, or even for myself and the older cats, what is it that MELO-D does that self-motivate yourself? What is it? Is it?
I think for me, and just this all kind of ties in with my decision to just kind of stop DJing like bottle service nightclubs and leaving Scam Artist. I just wanted to I want to have fun DJing again. Teaching has been great. It's very gratifying. It's really cool to be able to all these things that we've done for years and years and years, like teach it to somebody. You guys know, I see you said you do some teaching here, like just, and for it to see it click, you know what I mean? Like you're passing something on, like you're passing some knowledge on. There's a lot to be said for that. Like whether it's, you call it giving back or, like teaching in and of itself, like, so that's definitely a huge part of what I do. But through teaching, you have to stay sharp. Like you're the teacher. So you have to be able to, like, you get one shot. There's no like, oh wait, let me do it again. Hold on. That's not it. Like, so that in and of itself, like teaching, like definitely keeps me on the turntables a lot, keeps me motivated. Because I always want to be fresh. I want to be sharp. I might miss a day or two here and there to practice just because I have other things going on.
Right.
But then again, it all just goes back to just, I want to just enjoy DJing again. I want to just, like, if I'm taking a gig, it's a gig where I can just get up there and be myself. Yeah. I don't want to do the bottle service gig where that's like a job to me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting paid for it, but it's just like, it feels like work. Like sitting in front of a laptop, downloading music, looking through these charts, listening to Power 106, like that's work to me. Like that's not like... Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
All day.
I mean, that's just like that's work to me, and so I
So pretty much now you're taking care more of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah, and still chasing kind of like mastery, if you will. Like I just like that's one thing that we talk about at the school a lot, that we've kind of learned through teaching, is that with creative art, like there's no finish line. Like you're never going to get to a certain point after 10,000 hours. Or 10 years or 38 years. Like you're never going to be able to sit back, look at your craft and be like, nailed it. Like that's it. Like I just like there's no end boss. It's not like a video game where it's just like, once you battle that last guy, like that's it. You mastered that game, like you completed. Like there's no finish line to this. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that. So
you're always going to be a student in this game.
You always want to evolve.
You always want to get better. There's always going to be something new that comes up. You know what I mean? Like a new scratch or a new technique or something. Like it's just always going to be evolving. It's never going to be at a standstill. So that's kept me motivated, and going back to me just wanting to enjoy it. Like I said, if it's a gig, like that show I did with Z-Trip, that was so much fun.
I missed out on that one.
Yeah, that was a great night, and I was able to just get up there and be myself. Musically, play music that I liked, play music that I wanted to share with them, and hopefully that they would like bust a little bit. Like at one point I went into like a scratch solo for like 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes, like a routine, like a song. But that's not something I could ever get away with at a Vegas nightclub or
you wanted to have fun again.
Yeah, I just want to
back to the roots.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of come full circle. And that's kind of what accounts for these videos that I post up on Instagram. It's just like social media, not necessarily YouTube and Facebook, but at least Instagram, like for now, like it's a really cool space where I can just be myself.
Like you can,
And people that, people that are into it or, like what I do, like, you know what I mean? Like they can follow me and they can see that, and just like, and it's cool to get that kind of feedback, you know what I mean? From DJs and from music enthusiasts and from maybe aspiring DJs or, producers, like, just, it's been really cool. A lot of love. It's been very encouraging. And it's always like, it's kind of a personal challenge too, because it's like I'm always trying to kind of outdo myself. Like, all right, well, I did this last week, and like, what can I do this week that's at least going to like be on that level, or, or just keep the creative juices flowing, if you will. Helps
that's
with
inspiring,
that.
Man.
So like touring DJ is definitely not something you want to do.
Thanks,
like,
man. Thanks, Serts.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, no, it is.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like touring DJ, it's not like something you would want to do. Like, like what Short's doing, Jazzy Jeff,
Like touring with a group, or like
or
being a
just
DJ for.
No, for like not a group, but for yourself, like.
One thing that I always wanted to do, that I always, was like, I was never mad at, as like the opportunity to DJ with like a big time artist, like anybody in hip hop, that was notable. Just to have that experience and like be a stage DJ, kind of like support for a headlining artist, you know what I mean? Like a Jay-Z or a Biggie or someone on that level. I just never had that opportunity, and I'm not bitter about it. Like it's just like but that's something that I definitely would have liked to try. But to tour like as a DJ, I mean, if the setup is right and I'm not away from home for too long, it's just a lot of the gigs that I do take, they're primarily up and down the West Coast. I just having a family, I don't really like to be away from home for too long, and just like not as much as it is that, it's just like I have to like go through these kind of personal hoops, like to, all right, I got to figure out how am I going to get my kids to and from school. Like, and then it's just, I ask my mom for, you know, my youngest, and then maybe my brother-in-law can pick up the 2 oldest, and then it's just like texting back and forth. And it's like, okay, it's this time. And then just like their lunch, and just like, okay, then they have piano practice this day. Like, can you bring them to, it's just like, it's so much to go through. Like, so it really has to be
life right there.
Yeah. And it really just has to be something that I want to do. Like if it's like if it's a gig I want to do or a tour I want to do. I just talked to Z-Trip earlier today on the phone, and so we were talking about possibly taking that like for like a West Coast run, like the thing that we did together. And so basically the way that night was constructed was I did a set for like an hour, and then I introduced him. He came on stage, and then we rocked together. We I went down to his crib and we practiced, and we kind of came up with something for like 10 minutes.
4?
Yeah, we did a little 2-man, like 2x4 for like 10 minutes. And that segued into his solo set, and then, which he nailed, crushed it. And then at the end, we kind of freestyled another 2x4 for like 20, 25 minutes. The Batons were in the house that night. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a really cool night. And it was just, it was a really, really heavy night, because it just kind of like solidified that I'm like, for myself, like I'm headed down the right path. Like I'm being true to what I want to do. Like, granted, that's not going to be like, you know, a crazy paycheck in Vegas, or like, you know, me doing DJing 5 nights a week. But I mean, it's going to be like these special nights that happen, you know, when they happen, like whether that's once a year or 4 times a year or whatever it is. But that's the kind of stuff that I want to do, and just the love and the support and all the positive feedback that we got on social media, on our Instagram with the recap video and stuff. Just like I said, just kind of reaffirms that, you know, I'm doing the right thing for myself. And so yeah, to answer your question, like if a situation popped up for like a tour like that, and we were kind of talking about that earlier, Z and I, maybe doing like a West Coast run, you know, like we do a Bay Area show, LA show, maybe a San Diego show, maybe somewhere like kind of in the middle, like Santa Barbara, something like that. You know, like do like a Thursday weekend run, something like that.
No, that's dope, man. And Z-Trip is a good partner to do it with.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
You know,
yeah,
definitely.
I, got so much
I grew up on
Z
Z-Trip too, man.
Yeah. His game is crazy, and I really one of the reasons I was really excited to do that night with him was because I have this kind of other side of me musically that I kind of hold back on because of my affiliation with my crew. You know, so I'm a big fan of rock music. Actually, I had a rock residency in the Hard Rock in Vegas, you know. There's other types of things I like to play, but like when I'm doing stuff with the Junkies, you know, the people that come to see us, like our following, you know, they're hip hop heads, and so are we.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's certain things like I know that just like a night with the Junkies is not the night to do that. A night with Z-Trip, it's like all bets are off. Like anything goes.
Anything goes.
And his audience, his fans, his followers, they're so musically just open-minded. Not that our fans, the Junkies fans, aren't. Right. But they're you know, they're DJ heads, they're hip hop heads. You know what I mean? And they come for that. And that's dope. You know what I mean? But like this night with Z was just like, you know, I'm playing rock. He's playing rock. I'm doing mashups. He's doing mashups. You know, I'm like I said, I'm going into a DJ solo. He's going to, it was just like A to Z. Like we just ran the gamut, and the crowd was just receptive to everything. And so to me, that was like what was probably most special about that night. And I was really excited to like, and I knew that going in because I know his fan base, and I know that, okay, this is the night where I can just completely just like open up like all lanes, like, you know, yeah. So so that was real exciting, a lot of fun to do. And yeah, I hope to be able to maybe we can put something together, him and I, and do like that little tour or something like that.
Oh yeah, I hope you guys do.
I'll be there.
So
right,
yeah,
me and Aaron will be there.
Shout out to Z-Trip, man. That's the homie right there for sure. And I got so much respect for him. He, the way he just, he's so masterful. The way he weaves in and out of all these different genres, and like the acapellas, and the way the beats that he's putting them over. Just like his ideas are just so left field, and so, but he makes them work. Like he's the man when it comes to that. Like no one's touching that dude. He's been doing that for so long. And I know AM, and there's a couple other guys, like I think DJ P. You know, there's a couple other guys that have like, you know, made names for themselves doing mashups, but he just has a style all his own, and he's just so eclectic, and he's not scared to take chances.
Oh yeah, like, I saw him at what do you call this? BPM.
Recently, right?
After NAM.
Yeah.
Oh, killed it.
Yeah.
Super killed it.
Yeah, like just dope, technically skilled DJ, party rocker, like just like heavy on the mic, like dope mic skills. Like he just like, he just owns it.
That's like all around. I mean, at that point, it's a show. It's not like, it's not about like what skills you have on the tables. It's a whole package. You know, if you want to watch whole package as far as MC, music selection, scratching, trick mix, wordplay. I mean, it's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah,
it's all there.
He's the real deal, man. Shout out to Z-Trip.
Yeah,
There.
Like I still play. You know that girl from Ipanema, that Z-Trip track.
Oh yeah.
I still play that till this day.
Yeah.
That's still one of my top right there.
Yeah, it was really cool to have a chance to build with him. So I drove down to his crib. He stays down in San Diego, and I spent the weekend down there, and we just so dope. Vibed out and just messed around, experimented with some ideas, and recorded some audio, recorded some video, grabbed some food, and had some coffee, and talked DJing, talked music, talked life, and then it was a good time. And then it all led up to that night.
Yeah, man.
That we did in Orange County. It was super dope to work with them.
I hope they post a little bit about that. On YouTube or something, but if not, I hope you guys do another show.
Yeah.
Hopefully that comes into fruition as far as, for everyone.
Yeah,
up and down the coast.
For sure.
Yeah, if it's in LA, dude, I'm there.
Word.
I'll be there.
All right.
Me and Aaron and Jay.
Yep, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
We'll definitely bring the whole Red Sound crew.
I'll get you guys on the guest list for sure. You guys got love.
You're gonna get signs made and everything, man.
I even went to the show by myself. I went out. I was like, oh, Melodies gonna play at that Do Over early this year. Beginning of the year.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I was like, I was so bored. I was like, what should I do? Oh, Melo's playing. Oh yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, the Duo is a special one too. That's another one where it's just like that actually was kind of like. So going back to the Scam Artist thing, I was just like, okay, I knew what I was doing, and I knew I was kind of like, not that I was like slitting my own throat, but I knew I was kind of like deading my opportunities to work in that space anymore with the bottle service stuff, and which means like losing out on that paycheck, but the Do-Over, like it's funny that the way life works. It's just like one door closes and another one opens. So the Do-Over reached out literally 2 days, maybe the next day after I had this conversation with Scam Artist, and just like, okay, like we're parting ways and it's all good, like whatever. Right. And so I get this email from the Do-Over like, yo, you want to play January 1st? I'm like, wow, like it's just this is just crazy the way the universe works. Just like that's the perfect way to start my new year. Like I'm just kind of closing this chapter in my life, and
you played the shit. You were like yourself that night.
Yeah, so that's why I was just like that's perfect, And then that I had that, and then I did this had another gig. It's called the Pacific Beach Shore Club. It's just a bar, but it's down in Pacific Beach, which is I think North County, San Diego. Right. But they have this cool little. I've never been there, but they have this boardwalk, and so they got ice cream shop and a couple of restaurants, a couple of bars. And so I did this this night over there, and same thing, just being myself, having fun. It was structured. I wasn't sure what to make of it, but so when they booked it, this went through our guy who does all of our bookings. But the way it was presented to me was, we want you to play 2 hours, but we want you to play an hour from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Take a break, another DJ will play, and then do another hour from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm like, okay, it seems early, but it made total sense. So I get to this bar, nice spot, real chill, casual, and they have other DJs, but it's from that hour, from like 5 to 10 p.m., it's basically everyone getting off of work.
Right.
That, these guys are older. They're like, our age, and like, they got their 9 to 5s, but they're just coming in to have a couple beers and like hear some cuts. So it made sense for me to play during that time because like that's the audience that I'm playing for. And so they're reacting and they're, they're cheering for songs and stuff like that. And there's only maybe like 70, 80 people there. But, in a bar, like,
that's a lot of people.
So we got the energy going. It was fun. And then, we're drinking a little bit, having beers and stuff. And so I take my break. And so anyhow, so I do my 2 hours and, I go hang out with, some of the people that were there kicking in, just talking to folks. And then I go outside because it got kind of loud at one point. And I'm outside on the patio for 30 minutes. I walk back inside to use the restroom, and the space had completely flipped. All those people are now gone, and it's just straight college night. Like the music had changed. It's all the new top 40, but it was cracking. Like it was packed. It turned into like a nightclub.
Right.
And so I ended up staying at this bar till like 2 a.m. Like getting drunk with these college kids doing. You guys know about the fish races? They had fish races popping.
Oh,
Fish races.
What the heck is that?
Y'all don't know about
Look
the
it
fish?
up.
I didn't know about the fish races either. But it's a fish race. So it's like it's a drinking game. So basically like you do a shot and there's like a tank that has a center divider, and so it's you and your opponent. There's a fish, and then there's a gate that comes up, and you each have like a long plastic straw. The object of the game is to, while you're inebriated, is to take this straw. When the gate lifts, you have to physically blow your fish all the way to the end of the tank.
Oh shit!
Where there's a science. Yes, that's it.
That's a real fish.
Fish races. It's a real fish. It's a real fish.
Is there a video on that?
And there's a science to it, because you have to blow the fish in such a way that he doesn't like bounce off the sides of the tank. You have to like really like. I'm watching people do this, and they're like, people are, yeah. Well, that's kind of a tame one, but the night I was there, oh man, dude, it was like a craps table. Like people, there was like teams on both sides. Like it's like 10 people.
Everyone's
cheering on. Yeah. That's it. And then there's kind of a sad side to this story too, because sometimes people blow the fish too hard. The fish like hits the end of the wall and just like concusses and just dies. So it's just like, oh man, like that was kind of
that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. But so anyways, that was the Pacific Beach Shore Club. So I did that gig, fun night, another thing that I wanted to do. And then
back then we didn't have that, man. We had go-go freaking poles for girls.
Oh, right. Those are still around too.
Those are still good. I don't mind those either.
Yeah, and then but so far the year's been off to a great start in terms of live DJing. I just I've been blessed to have a number of opportunities to just do those kind of things where it's just like, that's right in my wheelhouse. I'm there all day. It's like I did the Dre Day at Echoplex.
Oh yeah, Dre
February.
Day.
That was super dope. Me and Battle Cat, and that was just a real special night just to celebrate like West Coast music and culture.
I gotta hang with you, man. I just gotta text you. Hey, can I roll?
Yeah, man. Anytime.
I'll bring the camera.
I'll text you. Can I roll with you?
I'll bring the camera. I'll be behind you. I'll capture everything for you.
And we recently, ironically, we landed a new residency in Vegas, a new spot called On the Record. It's a nightclub at the new Park MGM Hotel, which is the old Monte Carlo, which is just south of the Aria. But they renovated it. Looks really nice inside. Same physical space, but new restaurant. The homie Roy Choi, Chef Roy, he's got a restaurant in there called Best Friend. Really nice restaurant, killer menu. Like everything's bomb in there. You guys got to go try it out.
How often are you there?
We're there once a month.
Once a month.
So we do.
Is that you and?
We all rotate.
Oh, okay.
So
the Beat Junkies.
Yeah. So I've been there a few times already. Actually, we're going back not this weekend, next weekend. So we do a set at the restaurant, at Roy's restaurant.
Right.
And it's Roy. He's from LA. He's Los Angeles native, Angelino through and through. And so he's all about like just hip hop. Like he knows what's up with the crew and just like everybody. And that's the homie. So he has us come DJ at his restaurant. Super dope. Proper DJ booth. Dope sound system for a restaurant. Probably like literally the best sound system I've ever heard in a restaurant in a space like that. So yeah, real chill, good vibes in there, great food. Staff is amazing, excellent service. Can't say enough about his spot.
It's called Best Friends?
Shout out to Best Friend. Best Friend, yeah.
Best Friend.
It's at the Park MGM. And then next door to his restaurant is a nightclub called On the Record, which is a Vegas nightclub. They do offer bottle service, but it's not your typical Vegas nightclub. It's not, a big mega club. It's a much smaller, more intimate space. And the team out there, shout out to Eddie McDonald and my man Sir Pierce and all the guys at MGM. But the way they are structuring the talent is that they're bringing out people that are not going to do kind of that top 40 set. They have a small handful of top 40 DJs, but just to give you guys an idea, so they've had DJ Premier 2, I think maybe 3 times, wow. Gangstar. They've had acts. They brought out the Far Side. The Far Side was actually there performing the night we were there, the first night. They had the Far Side. They've had Naughty by Nature. They recently had Redman Method Man. They had KRS-One twice. Just Blaze did a set over there. Questlove's been in there a few times. Mark Ronson's a monthly resident.
Dope.
They definitely have nights where like they'll do like kind of like a top 40, like whatever. But for the most part, like the majority of the guys that they book, and us included, like they're bringing the guys out based off of what they do, and they want that to translate into the nightclub. So we're doing this cool. Yeah, that's it. We're doing this cool new space. It's called On the Record. And if you're ever out there, go check it out. I mean, even if we're not there, but they're doing a lot of cool stuff over there. And so same thing. The guys over there, very supportive. And they just been encouraging us to like, yo, do you guys come out here. And so we did that the first night. We brought kind of like that do-over vibe.
Yeah.
Just playing like, just classics and like hip hop, funk, R&B, instrumentals, breaks. And then we were back there last month and same thing. And it was really well received. And so yeah, it's really cool. Like I mean, it's very, very unique for a club like that in Las Vegas to encourage something like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
There you go.
Yeah,
The Junkies. Go back. Look at the lineup. Just go back. No, to go back. Like, there you go. Got.
So there's Mark Ronson.
Big
Daddy
Daddy
Kane.
Kane. Rev Run.
Yeah, Mel DeVarge. What?
There you go.
Yeah, Ross One.
That's dope. Sprite. Scribbles.
Yeah, Scribbles a resident there.
Scribbles.
Shout out to
heard that name in a
Scribbles.
while.
Mel Star. Yeah, he's been in there. 5. Yep.
Incredible.
Justin.
Premier's back.
Premier. Yeah.
Questlove. Wyclef.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of cool stuff over there. So shout out to On the Record. Yeah, DJ Zoe, that's
DJ
the homie.
Zoe, yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's good,
man.
dude.
Oh, dude, he's a beast. I love Zoe, man. Shout out to Zoe.
Look at all that. That's a dope lineup. That's a dope spot.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they got a really nice outdoor patio that has a separate DJ booth, but they get a nice vibe going out there too. Yeah, it's a really cool spot. 2 full bars and.
Damn, you guys got Jazzy.
Oh, they got Jeff. Too? Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Dope.
July.
Yeah, that's funny. I was talking to Jeff. He actually, he had texted me when we announced that we were doing the first. It was grand opening weekend, and so he texted me because I worked with Jeff in Vegas in the past.
Right.
And I know how he feels about Vegas. Like he doesn't care if he never DJs there again. Like, and he'll say that like he's but so he texted me and he was just like, yo, Melo, he's like, how was the club, man? And so I told him what I just told you guys, like, yo, man, like they're really like they're doing something cool and different, man. Like, I mean, just the way that they're kind of putting this all together and the guys that they're bringing out. And so, but I was like, I know how you feel about Vegas, you know what I mean? So, and then I saw him. When did he come down? He just came down and did Q&A at our DJ school recently, like a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, he was there as our guest, and so yeah, we were talking more about it, and so he kind of hinted that they had reached out. So it's funny that I'm seeing his name on the on the upcoming dates. Yeah, so they locked him in. That's dope. Yeah, he's gonna kill it. Like and I was telling him like, no,
Jeff is definitely a beast in a whole different level.
The guy hasn't lost a step, man. It's just crazy.
Not at all. It was an old video with him and EM. I used to watch that over and over and over.
Yeah.
I think it was in House of Blues, San Diego. Yeah, that video, I watched that video over and over.
Yeah, Jeff's the man. And talk about like, motivation. Like, I mean, just looking at, this is a guy I've looked up to since I started DJing. I mean, even before I started DJing, like was one of the reasons I wanted to learn to DJ and become a DJ. And 3 decades later, I mean, he's still out there just doing it. Like, and he's, again, mentor, pioneering forefather, founder of this beloved craft we call DJing, and he's still out there. This guy in his 50s, man, just touring the world, loving life, loving just being himself, just crushing life, man, crushing the game, and definitely just continuing to pave the way, man. It's amazing. Like, shout out to the magnificent man, Jazzy Jeff. Yeah,
that's the one that record that goes, make it sound like a bird.
Oh yeah, 12 inch.
Like what the what?
Yeah. How did he do that?
Yeah, exactly. Rewind. Rewind it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man. I mean, before we let you go, I mean, is there any projects that we need to keep an eye on you? I know you're doing the school that's keeping you busy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're still doing gigs. Mm-hmm. But besides that, you have any projects, any recordings coming up? Any?
I got invited to do a guest set on Rock the Bells, which is LL Cool J's radio show on Sirius. So that's gonna air Memorial Day weekend. So I got to get to work on that. I literally just got that call today.
Congrats.
So thank you. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So I definitely got.
Is he hosting?
Got some work. Yeah, he'll be hosting. Wow. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. So I'm looking forward to putting something together for that. And other than that, pretty much just all the stuff, Beat Junkie stuff. Check out beatjunkies.com. That's our online record pool for any DJs looking out for just kind of things that are left or right of commercial music. That's kind of like our niche. Kind of what sets our record pool apart from other online music services. We have a decent amount of new music as well, but just to kind of put up more of the hits and stuff like that. Very nice catalog.
Old school hits and stuff?
Yeah, that's kind of what we specialize in, but just intros. Intro, outro versions of just everything. 80s hip-hop, acapellas, 90s hip-hop, instrumentals.
That is dope.
Yeah, a couple remixes, couple really rare things from 7 inches to rare 12 inches. A lot of versions that you're not going to find anywhere else online, like let's say like Latin freestyle like a Nocera, right? I mean, you get everyone probably has an intro outro of Summertime and Let's Go, right?
Yeah.
But like we went through lengths to record like the actual dub-a-pella, the bonus beats,
really,
stuff like that. So like 12-inch, like things that were on 12 inches, and then like recreating edits and stuff out of them and stuff like that. So that's beatjunkies.com. That's our online record pool. And then we also have, of course, our DJ school. So if you're ever in the LA area, check us out. It's the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. We're in Glendale, and we're open 6 days a week. We teach classes Monday through Saturday, and that's myself, Rhetmatic, Babu, Mr. Chalk, D Styles, J Rock. Shortcut falls through when he's in the LA area, and that's where we teach the art of DJing at all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then most recently we launched beatjunkies.tv, which is our online DJ school. So that's also a subscription plan. So for anyone that wants to learn the art of DJing that isn't necessarily geographically close to LA or have access to being here in Southern California, that's pretty much where we put up all these instructional videos of all the curriculum, methods, and techniques that we teach at our DJ school here in LA.
That's dope.
Real sick.
So yeah, same thing, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And just all things, everything Beat Junkies. That's pretty much what I have going on. And I try and be good about posting, when I'm doing something, live DJ gig or something, whether it's Vegas or a special night with like a guy like Z-Trip or something like that. So you can follow me on Instagram, DJ MELO-D. And then on IG, we are The Beat Junkies, THE, The Beat Junkies. So yeah, if you want to give us a follow or
definitely
already following.
Thanks,
Ben,
fellas,
I was the first one.
Well, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
No, but thank you for taking the time, on your busy schedule, come visit us.
My pleasure.
Definitely being here. And we gotta definitely get you back on here, obviously. Get an update, see what you do up to, maybe in a couple months or so, like that.
Yeah, sure.
Man, there's so much stuff we haven't covered.
I could ramble for days about DJing.
No, it's perfect.
It's probably good you guys cut me off.
No, but thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys.
You got any last minute questions?
Man, you answered all of them, man.
Okay, cool.
I was just here like, man.
More than enough, right?
Yeah.
Jay, you good?
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
DJ MELO-D, say what's up.
MELO-D from the Beat Junkies, the
Peace,
living legend.
Everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
All right. We're out.
We're out.